Hi, everybody. Welcome to tonight's episode of Infinite Horizon. Um, should I just get into the habit of just saying what number episode we're on so that when major milestones come by, I don't
We
forget?
don't forget. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is season 2, episode 25. Yeah, episode 25.
I don't know. I just wrote 52 down.
Yeah, then and the 52nd episode of Infinite Horizon, which is wild. That's like almost 100. That's
That is almost 100.
Yeah, if you round it to the nearest multiple of 100, that's like 100.
truly.
We make this every time we say what episode.
I know.
Deja vu.
It's like
I feel like
almost
there's deja vu here.
It was tough to round up, so.
Sorry, that was Taylor. He threw us
Honest-
back at us. a bit
Honestly,
by
one of
accident.
my favorite just stupid jokes is anything that's over 10 just go that's almost 100.
Almost 100.
So,
I think we've been saying that about our episode numbers since episode 30. We're like, wow, episode 30. That's almost 100.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, welcome to tonight's episode. Before we get into the episode, we probably have some announcements, and I'm just going to talk until they come out. First of all, this Friday on Ramblemancy, we've got an In Too Deep takeover of Ramblemancy. So we're having some of the cast of In Too Deep come and hang out with us on Ramblemancy and see what happens. Spoilers, it's gonna be chaos. I believe at this moment we have we've got Colin and Cole, Lily, and Liv is unconfirmed, but probably Liv. So yeah, we're gonna have a fun group on to chat about whatever. It's just gonna be whatever. We're not putting any rails on that because even if we did, I mean, you've seen the show. And I'm talking about both of them, yes, but Ramblemancy and In Too Deep. So why limit ourselves? On Saturday, we are continuing, maybe finishing, depends on how much we get through, our Borderlands playthrough. So we will be doing that on Saturday, so keep that in mind. Patreon Writers Room. We did not meet last night because I was feeling bad, but we're gonna be rescheduling, so don't worry. We'll contact y'all when we get started when we settle a date. But yeah, I think that might be all we have. I think that's everything. But every time I say that, I always think of a new thing. So, but yeah, that's all I've got. I think so. If anybody else has stuff they want to announce,
It's always the end of the episode. If you remember something later,
Yeah.
they'll know eventually. The solo titles for Power Play have been complete. I think all 4 of them are now on YouTube. They were all very fun and very cute. No Power Play this Sunday, and then next Sunday, technically no Power Play, but we are doing a Q&A, which we haven't done yet at all so far through the season. So you can go in the Q Times Discord and ask questions, and I think they put out a post too that you can reply to. I'm very excited. We do a lot of decompressing post show with just the cast, but we haven't done it publicly yet, so I'm excited to chat about it.
awesome.
I think just got announced today that I'm going to be over on Cobalt Press starting June 8th in a mini series called The Scarlet Citadel. We're going to be showcasing their new book that's going to be coming out. I'm very excited. We're playing with some people I've been itching to play for a long time now. But that's going to be on every Tuesday starting on June 8th from a time that I can't, 4 p.m. Pacific. I'm looking at it right now. Starting from 4 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday from June 8th to I think about July 13th, I think. That sounds like a day that's a Tuesday in July. So I think that's it. Yeah, and I'm stoked. I'm very excited for everyone to see my character as well. I actually outsourced it. I was like, hey, I'm playing a monk. I was like, hey, a monk that's based on a tree. Give me color schemes. And people just gave me a bunch, and I chose one. I'm very excited for the art to come out and just show everyone. It's very cute. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it other than my usual streaming schedule. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
I'll just make a quick announcement. Last Friday, my short ebook of poetry came out called Alternate Summer Where No One Dies, and it's a cool little book. It's gay. There's some gay poems. There's a poem about my cat. There's a poem that mentions aliens. There's lots of fun stuff in there. There's peach imagery. There's lots of good shit. So I'm gonna go ahead and link that here. I have an
Yeah.
old-fashioned link that I just dropped in there. So you can go check it out, and it's only $3.50, and it's an ebook, so super easy.
Awesome. I keep forgetting that that's out now, and I need to go get it.
I'm
If
buying it right now.
it tricks you into thinking that you like, if you don't have a PayPal account, it tricks you into thinking you need one, but you can like easily just do it by just setting one up really quickly. Like you don't really need one.
Cool.
So.
Cool. I actually did remember an announcement, which is that next Tuesday, so like a week from yesterday, this coming Tuesday, there will be no In Too Deep. That's June 1st, right? Yeah.
Yes.
There will be no
Yeah.
In Too Deep that day. Colin will be out of town, so no DM means no game. So yeah, so In Too Deep, there will not be an episode of In Too Deep on Tuesday, June 1st. So keep that in mind. We've made announcements about it, and we'll make more announcements as it comes closer and all that stuff. But yeah, just an actual a planned day where In Too Deep is not going to be happening instead of the accidental ones that we seem to be cursed with. So yeah, so there will to repeat, there will not be an episode of In Too Deep on June 1st. Remy, Freeman, you guys got anything you want to add?
I got art commissions open if you want them at my Twitter and to see what I'm doing. That's literally all I'm probably going to be announcing for the next couple of times here.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's, I think, just like I'm building a ghillie hat, and y'all can watch me post pictures on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a very silly project. It's a lot of fun. I had to take a little break because jute is a really messy material and a limited resource. So I'll show more pictures of that. Also, the only good way to show a picture of that is to put it on my head and give like a more three-dimensional thing. And every picture I've taken just looks, it's
You're
not
too
great.
camouflaged. You're just blending
Well,
in.
actually, that's the thing. Like, I did post one like yesterday, but you guys probably didn't see it at all because it's just.
Yeah, it's just like this is just a picture of Freeman's room. What's happening? I don't
What's
understand.
going on? John Cena, is that
What am
you? Awesome. Yeah, it's been fun seeing your updates to those. So you should
Good,
check it out.
I'm glad.
All right. I think that's everything. So we're gonna start this episode of Infinite Horizon. Hello, and we are back. So let me get right into this recap, assuming that I can find the correct tab. There it is. Stop yelling at me, computer. Okay. Hi. All right. Previously on Infinite Horizon. After signing on to Calvin Hayes' deep space exploration mission, the crew of Awakeners set to finding a way through corporate space as their first task for Hayes. Their search led them to a hacker and credential forger, a rambunctious wildcard named Riot, who claimed to be able to generate codes that would allow Hayes' ship, the Bellerophon, passage through corporate space. Thanks to Bina's charm and a little arm twisting by Becker, Riot agreed to help, providing the crew would return their forgery tools. Unfortunately for the crew, Riot's tools were currently part of the ante for a tremendously illegal competition. Unfortunately for the crew, that illegal competition was the 50th annual Conduit Circuit. Bina, who had raced in the past, volunteered herself and her old racer Euphoria to win back Riot's tools. Having secured a potential avenue of entry into corporate space, the crew returned to the Bellerophon and got their first real look around the ship, a deep exploration vessel of Scoran design. After they'd settled in their new quarters, the Bellerophon departed Sulan and headed to the staging area for the Conduit Circuit. The rest of the crew watched as Bina put her old conduit racing skills to the test, streaking along the surface of an active conduit. Between outside interference and the skill of the other racers, the competition was a close one, but thanks to Bina's legendary piloting skills, Euphoria was the first craft over the finish line. As thankful as they were ever likely to be, Riot forged the crew a set of credentials with their newly returned tools and left them to their own devices. Passage through corporate space secured, Hayes congratulated the crew on Bina's victory and left to go get the Bellerophon underway. Later, as the crew settled into their quarters. Mason and Taeon noticed that Patch seemed unsettled. When they asked, Patch brought up concerns about the region of space the expedition was venturing into. According to Patch, their journey through the Tatters would take the crew uncomfortably close to the Voxora homeworld. Patch shared CT's suspicion that Hayes' expedition was a cover for seeking out not only the Voxora home, but also the prime conduit the Voxora used to gain access to this galaxy. In a final scene, Hayes called CT to his office and discussed the next steps in their journey, making casual mention of a Voxora source. However, as Hayes revealed more information, it became clear that the Voxora in question was not so much an employee as they were an unwilling guest of Mr. Hayes. And that is where we left off. So, jumping right back in, maybe not at that exact point, but we will be jumping in as the Bellerophon. Actually, hold on. Who even am I? We need to get some sounds going here. 1 second. Where did that go? See, this is why you prepare things ahead of time, everybody. So, okay. As the Bellerophon makes its way through, I'd say over the course of maybe the next, it would be at least a week, going through various conduits and in and out of FTL. The crew on the Bellerophon makes their way towards the outer edge of the galaxy and corporate space. I should say the outer edge of the known galaxy and corporate space. The corporate space in question that the Bellerophon is heading for is a region of largely unexplored space that the corps were able to uncover conduits towards, leading to maybe just a couple years ago. In fact, the crew of Awakener has actually been out this way before, specifically back when all this started on the corporate colony of Eos. Probably the last time y'all were here. I just realized it would not take anywhere close to a week. Sulan's right there, isn't it? It is. Yeah, so it wouldn't take anywhere close to a week. This would take probably more like, honestly, like a single conduit jump. So like, sorry, I got my whole brain turned around about the map. But yeah, so the last time any of you, the crew of Awakener, were out this way, was during the events of the Eos colony, the events that set all of this in motion. So it's been a hot minute. And the last time that you were out here was not under the most pleasant circumstances. But this time, fully informed and aware of your destination, you make your way towards the outer edges of not just known space, but of where anyone has explored thus far. So, I'd say in total the transit would be maybe like a day or so. just from like the conduit into corporate space, and then FTL to the conduit leading, or not conduit, but like the exit point into out of corporate space into unknown space. It'd probably be about like a day of FTL. So during that time, is there anything in particular y'all would like to do?
Yes. So I think after like he's definitely been like checking his weaponry and stuff, just make sure everything's in check, checking if they let him, checking the other people who we're going to be working with, their weaponry, and making sure that to par, at least for this time period. He's going to look for Peach.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny because I was gonna say Peach wants to talk to Taeyeon. Yes. Okay, perfect.
Amazing. All right, yeah, we'll say that you could find Peach. Is there anywhere that Peach that you would likely be?
Probably like, is there like kind of a workspace around here? Like she's probably kind of reviewing some like mission kind of specs and kind of going over like what we know and all of the. Yeah.
There is sort of like a what looks to be a briefing room. So yeah, there is definitely a place like that on the ship.
Okay. Peach has it kind of like finals week style, you know, like it's there's just kind of shit all over, like there's stuff projected up on the screen, and yeah, that's how you find her.
Yeah, so Taeyeon kind of like see all of that and just like as lightly taps against the frame of the doorway, just to be like, so that you know he's there.
Come in.
You busy?
Yeah, but I can use a break.
Oh well, that's probably not what I'm gonna be bringing, but okay. I'm just gonna
good.
walking.
Take a seat. Take a seat, Taeyeon.
Okay, and he'll just like sit opposite Peach. This whole thing that we're doing, we need to focus on that. I understand, but I've been thinking.
Are you here about the doctor?
Yes.
Yeah.
What she knows is way too dangerous to just let be out there.
I agree.
And understand Bina's hesitation to go with just permanent imprisonment. We don't have the facilities for that anyway. We don't need an extra mouth to feed or anything like that. But what she knows, we need to stop that from getting out there. I don't know your power set completely. I think yours is probably the one that was the most mysterious out of the ones I've learned about, even while I'm here, but especially back forward in my time. But can you? I suggested taking the memories of what she knows. Is that a thing you can do?
I mean, I've done it in a very kind of short-term capacity. You know, I haven't. It's a part of my powers that I haven't really had a lot of time or ability to practice. You know, I can't exactly walk around trying that on everybody on the ship. So.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe just the guy in charge, you know. I wouldn't feel too bad about him, but
yeah, I don't think anyone would really mind if you did that. But I think we need to deal with the doctor, and it's either, honestly, I mentioned it and I don't want to have to resort to that, but it's either killing her or wiping what she knows. And I would like to just possibly wipe what she knows and that be all, but I think it was Eva that made this point where she learns or discovers it again.
I mean, I guess that's kind of an old debate, you know, nature versus nurture. If you know, I wiped her slate clean. I don't know if that's something I could do. I mean, I think it's something I could do. Would she discover it again, or would we put her towards a new cause and maybe she'll do something good? We have no idea of knowing, but
I think wiping her clean might be the best option.
It at least gives her a chance.
Yeah. I don't know if Sabina's not gonna like it. I don't think Mason would be much of a fan either.
Tam, I don't think they would love the decision, but I mean, someone needs to make it, and they don't want to. So
on the same page?
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Okay.
We try it my way, and if it doesn't work, maybe we'll try it your way.
I don't think if we do it my way, I don't think we should tell them. I don't think they should have that on their conscience.
I want to agree with you, but I have to think on that one for a second.
No, that's fair.
Just because they don't want it on their conscience doesn't mean they shouldn't have to have it.
No, that's fair. I have done my fair share of keeping secrets, and I guess it kind of led us to this anyway. So I will definitely follow your lead when it comes to who we tell and who we don't.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some secret keeping with other Peach, and that didn't go great either. So we just need to be careful. But this kind of leads me into something else too, is what are we going to do about if we get, through the tatters and it turns out, I'm forgetting his name right now. And it turns out, Hayes is after the homeworld. He's after the prime conduit. What do we do at that point?
Honestly, I'm still not sure about that either. If we can find a way to give him something that he thinks he wants, so that he can possibly leave without finding out the actual homeworld. But other than that, I honestly don't know. They have a pretty sizable force. I don't think we can do much to him by force without running into a decent amount of resistance.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this might just be a deception thing, and I'll be honest, that's not my forte. I think that's more your alley, Peach.
Thanks. I think.
I traveled through time.
A little offended, but it's okay.
Okay.
Okay. The doc. I really don't like that doctor. Really
honestly,
not a fan.
I'm not a fan, but I've also come across much worse. So it's more of
Really?
a grating kind of sensation. Oh boy, yes. People that even Ada couldn't be polite to, and that's
really, Ada
saying something. Yeah.
We're getting into some kind of tricky territory here, huh?
I'll be honest, it's weird to say, but I'm feeling more and more comfortable because this is feeling more and more like when I was.
And those choices, you just made them, and they worked out for you?
They worked out for the mission. I still remember those choices I made. And they don't really leave you, but at least then, and honestly, I still do believe that they're for the greater good.
Okay.
I'm just hoping that we won't need to make that many choices now. Those kind of choices, anyway.
Choices is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, I just had that on my mind and just wanted to run that by you.
Yeah. We're on the same page, Taeyeon.
I would say that I would offer help, and he kind of like looks at the paperwork and stuff you're doing, but I have no idea what this is about.
Well, I'm kind of just trying to review some notes and I know we didn't really have a traditional briefing structure kind of going into this, but I'm trying to get a little bit more together so that we kind of know what we're walking into. And I have some plans laid out of what maybe we can do with haze. And I just kind of show, and you just see there's like 100 different like diagrams of like what we could do.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. Cool. We're very different leader types. I can see that now. Yeah.
I mean, I can't prepare for everything with, superpowers and us going through a region called the Tatters, which again sounds terrible.
Yeah, no, we're definitely going to be in for a treat.
So trying to prepare as much as I can.
I would say, by the way, at this point, as you're like explaining this stuff to Taeyeon, you like glance down, you notice that you have like that in the sometime, you're not exactly sure, but sometime in between when you started working again and when and Taeyeon coming in at this point, you received like a brief message from Wire, like her standard stuff that she sends, like just sort of quick like updates on progress with the base and like things like that. But on this one, as you look at it, you also notice that there's like also a little bonus thing here I've got for you. You might get a kick out of.
I open it.
Yeah, as you look at it, you can see it's a news article about a excuse me, a largely corporate run mall station that was recently overthrown and by its people in a fairly like chaotic effort that at this point there's not a whole lot of news on, but it's believed that the whole thing began with a group of teens.
Wow. Spirit of this whole revolution is kind of spreading quickly, Taeyeon, and I'm gonna show him, also kind of taking the weight off of our conversation. she's gonna kind of actually just project it up on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no,
I think there's a video down there. Let's see it.
Oh god, yeah.
it's like a 5-second clip of this just absolute chaos taking place with like there are like just cloud bells just sort of everywhere, and also just sort of like a vague, very like Cloverfield style like camera view of like just this enormous mech that seems to be made out of some of the buildings just sort of stomping, and then it like pans away as the person who took the video is like running.
Wow.
Hold on, wait. Was that robot mech made out of buildings? Is that
very innovative? Maybe we should get them on our tech team.
Honestly, yeah, I feel like they have the gumption at the very least.
Yeah. Well, this was a nice break from lots of hard work.
I'm sure it was. But yeah. I'll leave you to it. I'm gonna go, and the people that Hayes hired are not very approachable, so it's gonna be interesting how we have to work. Well, at least
I know,
work with them.
They're really hard to talk to. I mean, I go and I say hi, and they barely even say hi back. It's a little bit rude. But
honestly, yeah. But I'm gonna go back and check their weaponry. They're for Hayes being a millionaire. Not entirely sure how many credits he has to his name. The weaponry they have isn't great even for this time period. I've seen a bit mismatched, different places, different. It's interesting, but I'm gonna go check on those.
Well, you put them all in shape, Taeyeon.
I'll try my best if they even look at me, but all I care about is making sure the stuff they have on them works. Yeah, I'll leave you to this.
Great.
It was good talking, and when we decide to do this after, just let me know, and hopefully your way works. If not,
yeah, and I'll think about what you said.
Thanks. And he gets up and heads out.
All right.
Peach watches the video one more time before going back to work.
Yeah. You see, like in the clip, sort of missed before in the chaos. You see just very briefly, like a tiny Skoru flying by, yelling, "Tweet, tweet, motherfucker!" And that's
Kids these days.
All right, so cutting over to actually, anyone else have anything that you want to do?
CT would like to just
Yeah.
anytime anyone's in like kind of any common areas, just like kind of stand off to the side and observe them. Like not approaching, just like you'll probably like see him like once in a while, just like kind of up against a wall, like staring at you with like you can't tell what his expression fully is because he's wearing his sunglasses all the time, but it's just standing and staring, not necessarily always at you, but at different things happening on, but he's just around.
Yeah.
If Mason notices that while out in like the kitchen area or just some common area, he's like cleaning his guns or a gun, I guess. He's kind of drinking some coffee and notices you and notices the glasses and then just pops his on as well. And then goes back to
all right. So then in that case, I am actually going to cut over to Taeyeon as you arrive at where you saw them like stashing, like setting up an armory basically. And when you arrive, it's open again. There's only one person inside when you arrive. And now it actually whereas before it looked like just sort of a room that was being repurposed, now it genuinely actually does look like an armory with like weapon racks and things like that set up. And you see the only other occupant of the room is a human man, in his mid 30s or so, kind of hair cropped down and kind of into like a military crop, and you can see like a single scar kind of curling from his upper lip up just to just under his eye, and as you enter, he's in the middle. He too is in the middle of seemingly inspecting one of the rifles. And as you step in, he looks up at you, and he just says, "You're not one of the engineers."
Oh no, I'm actually one of the specialists that Hayes hired. Just here to make sure that all of your weapons are in check. The last thing I need is one of you misfiring when we actually really need your help. And he just walks over to just one of the weapons immediately, just grabs it and starts pulling it apart.
He kind of stops in the middle of what he's doing. He doesn't respond to what you're saying. He just watches you as you do that and start kind of pulling it apart. And as he's watching you kind of like taking it apart, you can just see he goes and goes right back to it and says, "You know what you're doing. I'll give you that."
Oh yeah, absolutely. I probably been doing this kind of stuff longer than most people on this ship, actually.
You're probably right about that.
This one's probably going to be shooting slight. I think the kickback of this one's going to be a bit rough. So just let anyone who's using this just give them a heads up.
He finishes what he's doing and he walks over and kind of like leans over it. He says, "Oh yeah, I see that. Not my ideal for this kind of loadout."
Yeah, but I mean, everyone's different. I can see some people being pretty good with this if they know what they're dealing with.
Mostly private security on this ship. Unfortunately, many of them barely more than bouncers.
I think Taylor pauses at Dan and looks up. Do they know where they're going?
I think they've got some idea, but it's probably not exactly close to realistic. Many of them have no idea what it's like out there in the deep recesses of space. It's dangerous.
I mean, by the way you're talking, I'm assuming you know.
Been around a bit. He kind of looks you up and down, and then just says, "Name's Axel Gaunt."
Just
Galt,
raises a hand. Just raises a hand for a handshake.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Taeyeon Kez.
He looks at you, and like takes your hand, your hand, and like in a very firm, like kind of like a little too firm grip. And he says, "Right, I've read the briefs."
Very firm handshake.
Yeah, I've been.
Do you have a question? What got you involved in this then? If Hayes hired the equivalent of bouncers, and you're not one.
Hayes brought his own team of security, which were efficient enough for guarding his estates and his collection. Me, well, Mr. Hayes likes the best of everything, and me, he hired me for his head of security years ago. I get the job done.
I mean, with what it seems like we're going to be discovering, that might be very useful. But
it's refreshing to hear that take. Most of the people on this ship seem to think that we're out on a fact-finding mission or some kind of sightseeing tour.
Oh boy. I mean, hopefully that'll be the most of it, so they're not completely wrong. What are you doing here now, though? Are you checking out the weaponry as well? Make sure everything's in check?
It may not be my ideal loadout, but it's my responsibility to make sure it's all functioning properly. Besides, you can see this. He kind of he walks back over around to the table where he was when he first got here. Picks up the same rifle that he was looking at and continues kind of cleaning it and sort of reassembling. Says, "You never know what you're gonna find out there, and in my experience, a fight always finds you, whether you're ready for it or not." There is an insight to be had here if you wish to spend for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend for it. Yeah. Or is that 3 intellect?
Yeah, it's 3 intellect. So
does Edge eat into that or no?
I have yet to look that up, so for now we're gonna say yes.
Okay.
So here's what you can see when he says that last thing. You get the distinct impression that that comment was not made out of a sense of caution, but rather from somebody who seems to be anticipating it and even maybe a little bit hoping for it.
He's gonna again take another rifle probably, and then sit opposite him on the table and start pulling it apart as well, and just ask, how long has it been since you've been in actual action, not whatever Hayes has you up to?
Depends on what you mean, but in terms of getting into scrapes, well, must have been 3, maybe 4 years back. I was on, I was hired on as auxiliary crew for a regulator mission out in the border worlds. They were raiding they were doing a raid on one of the syndicates out that way that had gotten a little bit too big for their own britches. It was the last decent fight I had. Of course, regulators don't exactly like to, they have a very particular way they view themselves as some kind of saviors of the border worlds. And if you don't, in my experience, if those of us, like me, soldiers of fortune, come along, to people like that, methods matter. Besides, it's a point against the regulators' pride if they have to bring outsiders to do their work for them.
Yeah, that is a little bit of a win, isn't it?
So, wasn't with them for very long.
I hope I'm not prying or anything, but Do you miss it?
He finishes assembling the weapon, and just sort of, you can see as he cocks it, just sort of testing the action, and he says, "Well, things go the way I think they're gonna go on this. Not for long."
I mean, again, he's gonna like put his gun together and also cock it to make sure, test it out. I honestly do know the feeling. And he's gonna set it back up on the rack. Is that how you got the scar?
This. No, this was a bit further back. This one I got, ironically, working with the other side of that particular conflict. Only, dealer's court don't take too well to, well, having, those who come in just shy of their standards.
Oh. Well, if that is very becoming, very threatening. If you were on the opposite side, I would be kind of scared.
He kind of gives you a look, that it's really hard to read, but whatever is in that look, it makes you uncomfortable.
Okay.
And he just says, "I'll be honest with you. I don't give two shits about the archaeology or discovery or any of the other shite we're going after. For me, I'm here for one thing and one thing alone. And that is whatever Hayes pays me to do."
Here for the money. I mean, that is very fair. Well, hopefully, all we will be here for is the archaeology of it all. But I think at the very least, I will be honest, I wasn't really feeling comfortable having to work with who I now learned is the equivalent of bouncers, but knowing that you are also on our side, it's relieving.
I'm touched you feel that way. And he finishes up what he's working on. He says, "Right. Gonna go stretch the old muscles." And then he stands up and just walks out of the room, not like never breaking eye contact as he like turns to leave the room,
Okay.
until he's out of the room entirely.
The moment he does that, I go and to order the rifles he checked and double check them.
Oh, they're perfect. They're in perfect condition. I mean, well, as much as any of them can be given.
Yeah. Oh, okay. He really did know what he was doing. Oh boy, he's got some very interesting people on his team. And he's just gonna stay there and just keep checking with the guns.
Okay.
I guess I could occasionally looking over his shoulder to see if Axel was coming back at any point, because that was unnerving.
What was his name again?
Axel gone?
Axel Galt.
Galt.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Let's write that down.
All right. So, anything else anybody want to do?
Walks around like just like this is a new ship and it's big, and so she's just gonna kind of wander until something looks interesting.
Yeah. I mean, you wander around the ship, and for the most part, like you can kind of stop in. You look in on Alma, who is sort of in the process. Like you just sort of like a little wave that she gives you while she's in the middle of what appears to be a briefing amongst many of the other researchers. She kind of sees you, smiles and waves, and then kind of goes right back to like paying attention to to the briefing. But as you're kind of wandering, just sort of looking around the ship, somebody bumps you from behind, and you turn, and for a moment you think Taeon is standing there, and then you realize that this person is a little too short to be Taeon. but they are wearing a Kemothi suit, like environment suit. You hear a voice from like filtered voice from underneath the helmet. It's like, I am so sorry. I'm sorry. I was very focused, and you can see that like they have like a tablet in their hands, and I'm my apologies.
It's okay. It's all right. I wasn't really looking either, so it's no big deal.
Of course.
Bina Oba, nice to meet you. And she'll
Oh.
hold out her hand.
They look at you. Their hands are full. And,
Oh.
Sorry.
So like fist bump like the and like some exposed knuckles.
Yeah. I'm Rezik. Sorry. I am part of the hired Kemothi engineering team that is on board this strange and very interesting ship.
It's cool, isn't it? It's very big. I don't usually work on ships this big, so it's been fun.
No, me neither.
I'm with a group of, I don't know, specialists. I don't know what our official title is. We're kind of a hodgepodge.
Yes, I see. Is there any? Are you lost? Is there anything I can help you to find? I have memorized the entirety of the ship schematics, so.
Ooh. Well, I'm hoping to do that at some point, but I'm just kind of walking around. We just got here, so just trying to familiarize myself with the ship. I'm a lot of things, I guess. Here, I'm probably mechanic mostly. I don't think I'll be doing any flying, but
Mechanic. Oh,
Mhm.
have you seen the engineering deck?
not yet.
Do you come with me and just
Yes,
immediately
okay.
like just starts walking off. And yeah, before long you find yourself in a large I think it's probably like a 3-story engineering deck. Or like 3-level engineering deck where you have like the engines of this, because it's of Scoran design, the engines are kind of all around the exterior, like the rear exterior of the hull. And so because of that, the engine room has to have them accessible from the interior. So you basically, what you have is an engineering bay where there's ladders that sort of go kind of, it's almost like sort of like a bubble. The engineering shape is kind of shaped like a bubble, where there are ladders that kind of curve up and around the outside of the whole thing, as well as several like harnesses that are built in to basically like keep people like who are working on some of the upper engines aloft, where they can work. And basically you can see the different like engine pods that are kind of scattered around at regular intervals around the interior, as well as the main thrusters and FTL drive towards the back. And as you're looking around, you can see a team of roughly 15 Kemothi or so that are running around, just back and forth. Like it is a flurry of activity. It looks extremely chaotic, but there's something that is also very like purposeful about all of it.
Mhm.
There are also
I can tell when there's like a crew that's like in sync, like
yeah
they like
yeah, and then of course then there's other like engineers of other species as well, but the Kemoth are the ones who are the most visible, as there are the most of them, and also like they seem to make up the majority of the engineering team.
Mhm.
So
It's just like, whoa. It's gonna like look at all of the engine blocks around.
yeah, Rezik just sort of starts setting stuff down on a workstation. Says, "I know it's very exciting. This is my first excursion outside of Kemothi space, and so this is the first
Ooh.
ship that I've been on of this type."
Me too. It's very shiny, very new. Is that correct? Is it?
Yeah, no,
This is a
definitely,
brand new ship, yeah.
absolutely. It definitely does not have that sort of like worn, lived-in feel that a lot of engineering decks tend to have.
A little sterile, like
Yeah. And Isaac says, yes, it's it. So this isn't standard for vessels out here.
The cleanliness or the scale?
Yeah, the cleanliness, the
Oh, absolutely not. I've never been in a ship this pretty before. I assume that it won't stay this clean, but I mean, you can enjoy it while it's, new, but I prefer a little bit more of a well-loved engine room.
yes. Well, let me introduce you to the chief engineer. I'm sure he'll like to meet you. And he leads you down because basically, like, the entrance to the engineering deck is kind of on the mid level, and then you can kind of go either up or down from there. And he leads you over to a lift, that's just sort of that it just fits right into the catwalk as it comes up and then goes down. Um, and as you ride the lift down, he takes you over towards like where the FTL drives are, where you see a small grouping of Chemoth around an older Bakuvian. Now Bakuvians are a quadrupedal, mostly quadrupedal species. They have kind of articulating digits on their forelimbs, so they can still sort of manipulate things. They are generally a Commonwealth species, responsible in large measure for a lot of the galaxy's agricultural exports and exchange, as that is kind of what their cultural forte is. Like their cultural, like their technology, Bakuvian technology, was largely agricultural. So they are kind of the foremost experts on that in the galaxy. This particular Bakuvians, also generally in appearance, have sort of like kind of almost scaled armor platelets that run like down their spine and across the shoulders, and
What was the thing we kept referencing?
yeah, they're
every
vague.
time?
They are kind of vaguely pangolin like.
Penguin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So they have kind of that like that sort of stretched, almost snout-like appearance, sort of a very long face. As you approach this particular Bakuvian appears to be pretty like pretty not old, but like definitely later middle aged. And as you approach, he is in the process of seemingly giving out instructions. All right, so you hear what I'm saying, right? I do not want the FTL disassembled right now. I just a basic workover. That's all I want. We don't need to do a full thing. Look at me. Yes, you look at me. What did I just say? Repeat it back to me. And the Chemoth says, partial, only just partial work. No disassembly. That's right. No disassembly. Go on, go. And you, where are my reports? He points at Rezik, who says, they have been input into the terminal, and I brought one of the specialists with me. I ran into one of the specialists. This is Bina Oba. She is a mechanic. Says, huh. Yeah, I heard about you. And he kind of like looks at Rezik, says, well, what are you standing around for? Don't you have stuff to do? And Rezik goes, yes, of course. I will see you later. And just rushes
Nice
off.
to meet you.
Says, so you're a mechanic, right? Is that it?
Mhm.
Or worked on a ship like this before?
Not this big.
Yeah. Kind of looks around. Says, all right, well, you looking for something to do, or are you just sightseeing?
Well, I don't see why I can't do both. Best way to get to know the ship, get in the guts. What do you need?
That's true. All right, I need a third-tier diagnostic on engine 6B right over there. There's the tools. All the tools you need are over there, and don't bother me unless you need me.
Can do. And she'll hop on over and she'll start doing some diagnostics.
Yeah. As you're walking away, you just hear him go, "No, what did I tell you about touching the? Give me that!" And it just. So, all right. So, we're gonna cut.
Did he say his name?
I don't think he did.
I don't think so. Okay, cool. Good.
Nameless.
Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and cut to a little while. I'd say elsewhere. Mason and CT. The two of you are probably somewhere near like. I would say in this instance you're probably. Actually, let's say this. CT currently the only one of the crew that you can find is Mason. As the others seem to have scattered about the ship and either trying to make themselves useful or working in some capacity, or in the case of some, like Vix, question mark. Who knows where he is? But at the moment, you're able to find Mason, and so as you enter the common room, or actually, where would Mason be? Where would Mason be?
Just grabbing some coffee, probably
Okay.
in the mess hall
Okay.
of sorts.
Fair enough. So as you're, you two notice each other. Currently, there's not many people in here. There's maybe an off-duty helmsman who's in here at the moment, who's just sort of keeping to himself, just like seemingly kind of like almost like nodding off in a corner. Long shift probably. You make your way over to the coffee pot, Mason, and you notice that CT has entered the room. Yeah. So the coffee itself, by the way, it's not good. It hasn't been the entire time you've had like the coffee on the ship. It's that kind of like weak, sort of almost watery kind of. It's not great.
Fuck. I look over at CT. I wouldn't recommend it.
Coffee unsatisfactory.
You know, I don't even know when I got spoiled with coffee. Regulators didn't have great coffee, and that's like all I had. That's all I know.
Speaking of which, I disagree with what the individual known as Riot said about your face. You do not have a cop face.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, and just another part of being in the regulators.
No, you have a much gentler look about you than what I would think the implication of cop face might say.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I think it has a pretty bad connotation, so I appreciate that.
Yes, it is an objective observation. Nothing too... What is the word? Comfortable.
Hey, hold on now. I'm the detective here. I'm the one who does observing.
You are the one that does observing. Pray tell, what have you observed?
You actually.
Me, yes.
I noticed you observing all of us.
As much as I am able. You are a difficult number to keep track of on a ship of this size. But I have done my due diligence to try to at least seek each of you out as much as possible.
Where do you Damn it.
No comment.
I'm
I'll be up
so
front.
sorry.
I'll be up front with you, CT. I'm probably the more prickly of the bunch here, and I'm not going to. Where do you stand here with us, with this group?
In what capacity do you wish to know?
What is this? What's your business with Hayes?
Hayes is my employer and an individual that I wish to know more about and the activities of.
That's all I needed to know. Same. I think we all are.
I will say that that activity also extends to the rest of your crew as well. You are not on the same level as Hayes that I think I will require the time to observe. However, you are still under the same level of scrutiny that I am applying to every individual on this ship, perhaps even more so.
Well, I'll say this. Oh gosh, I forgot. It's terrible. I will say this. I don't trust him.
You are correct in going in with that assumption.
Good. Nice shades, by the way.
Thank you.
At this point, CT, your personal comms signals, and you can see that it's Hayes calling.
Well, I am needed elsewhere, so you will forgive me for cutting this meeting short. I will be back to observe you at a future date, probably, should time allow. Just to not scare you in case you catch me out of the corner of your eye for any reason.
Appreciated.
He'll turn and just walk away, not even say goodbye.
When you
Oh god.
when you answer the communication, just Hayes, you hear Hayes' voice, just CT.
Yes, sir.
We're approaching our destination. Get up to the bridge and bring whoever's with you.
Yes, sir. No one is currently. I am currently accompanying no one, so I shall be by myself.
Well, fine. Yeah, just get up here.
Okay. Yeah, he'll head up.
Okay. When you arrive, on the bridge, and actually, I would say everybody on anywhere on the ship, especially Bina, you would feel that the ship is dropping out of FTL. And CT, as you arrive on the bridge, you can see as star lines just sort of revert back to normal space, and ahead of you, just big enough to make out at this point, you can see a station. It looks like it's a mining station that is currently like built onto an asteroid. And where you are going right now, you're heading towards essentially like a large belt of asteroids. And as you approach, you can see Hayes, who is hovering over the captain, and he turns and looks at you and says, "All right, CT, good to see you." He says, "Looks like we're approaching our destination. Whatever leads we might find to tell us where we're going next, are gonna be there. I'm telling you."
All right, sir. Would you like me to prepare our specialists for exploration of the station?
Yeah. Get that ready, and take Galt with you too.
Yes, sir.
He says, we'll be up here." He says, "Captain, you know what to do?" The captain, a Nelfin woman who sort of like a sort of mint green kind of coloration to her skin. Her hair is sort of this lattice work of almost lichen-like constructs that sort of seem to kind of weave around her head in sort of the shape of like a short bob almost. And as she turns and looks, you can very clearly see that she is keeping annoyance checked. And she says, "Mr. Hayes, as I've told you before, we know how to do our jobs. It's what you hired us for. Let us do ours, and we'll make sure you get where you're going." "You're right. I'm sorry. I'm just excited. I mean, look at it. We're here. We're actually here. Says, yes, sir. And she kind of looks over and looks at the helmsman, and she says, open a channel to the station and request docking permission. Aye, Captain. And Hayes turns and says, all right, CT, better get that team ready. I'll make sure there's shuttles ready for you.
Yes, sir. I will start on that right away. Before, like, even out the door, mass text to everyone, meet in your quarters, please. Smiley face.
Excellent. So we'll cut to a little while later in the main crew quarters as you we're in your crew quarters as you all return.
Just for notes' sake, my note keeping sake, does the station have a name? This research station?
It does, but it's not a name, like a proper name per se. It's like it's a designation. So it'd be like
Okay, cool.
mining station.
Got it.
I think this is mining station HP-157. Indicating that it is a high prime mining station.
All together.
All right. So yeah,
It looks like we arrived.
This is not our final destination, however, it is one step of many. And so I am here to prepare you on what we are intending to do at this mining station, which is to retrieve any and all information that could potentially lead us forward towards an undesirable location, such as
Your home. Yeah.
yes.
I mean, this would be the perfect opportunity to change or edit anything we do find. Doesn't seem like he's going to be coming with us. It would just be us, right?
He did not make any inclinations into joining us on the surface. However, I would not just suddenly put it past him to spontaneously arrive to look at information himself.
Yeah.
What I can say is I am unsure of what he expects to find here. However, do take extreme caution with what you uncover and what you reveal to Hayes and any other members of the crew.
Noted.
Yeah, I'll definitely be keeping, honestly, everything that we find to myself. And if I'm asked for anything, I'll do my best to give convincing lies if it's something that's a bit too important.
Well, we'll have to provide detailed information, but maybe not the details that are the most pertinent to what he wants to know.
Yeah.
I would be careful about what you lie about as well. Hayes says he apparently has a source of information, and if what you uncover directly contradicts anything that he might already know, that might become a problem as well. So be light with the editing that you make to what you report.
We won't, outright lie. We'll just choose those truths very selectively.
At this point, the door chime to the quarters sounds.
Great.
And you hear a voice outside, like, "You ready in there? Boots on the ground in 10."
And yes, I should mention that Mr. Galt will also be joining us on
Boy,
this.
It's gonna be fun.
Are you already acquainted with Mr. Galt?
Yeah.
Oof. Don't like the expression you have right now, Taeon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's definitely the type of people we have to keep an eye on.
Do you
in
think
the
he's going to be
resistance.
Do you think he's going to be a problem?
Hopefully not. He seems very money motivated. So as long as he's doing what he's getting paid, as long as he's getting paid, he'll do what he needs to be done. But I guess now that I think about it, that depends on what exactly he's getting paid for. If it's just to protect us, that's great. If it's to directly report to Hayes, that might be a problem if we are planning on editing anything we find.
His motivations are not known to me at this time. However, you should probably act that he could be doing both simultaneously.
Yeah, I would expect his mission is probably different than ours.
Yeah. We'll just keep an eye on him. He seems itching for a fight.
Hmm.
And honestly, I think we can take him very easily, but I don't think that'll be great for our case if we're trying to stay in Hayes' quote-unquote good graces for now.
Perhaps not. However, he is a very interesting individual, and you mentioned that he is motivated by money, and that means that he is at least the most malleable when it comes to who he is listening to at any given time.
Yeah, no, I definitely got that impression from the stories he ended up telling me as well. Okay, I'll keep an eye on him, and see if I can get him away just in anytime we do find anything important, so he can go with changing some of the stuff we report. But yeah, no, I think for now he shouldn't be a problem for now.
And CT, the source that Hayes has, do you know anything else about it?
Do not recite anything outside of this room that I am about to say.
Of course.
It is potentially a Voxor individual that he has captured.
Captured?
Status unknown, but we Voxor do not go willingly.
I wonder what else Hayes has in his collection.
Probably a lot worse than someone.
Well, whoever they are, we'll help them. Don't worry. Well, you can worry a little bit.
Yes, apologies if my face is not expressing said emotion, but I am very worried about a lot of things.
The door chime sounds again. It's like, where are you? Come on.
It's only been 5 minutes.
He is an impatient man, unfortunately.
Well, are we ready?
As red as I would be.
Yeah. Shit, I feel like I'm in the regulators again. 10 minutes, boots on the ground.
We'll have way more fun than them.
Ooh,
No.
just a reminder. You never knew this, but Axel also worked with the regulators, not as a regulator, but with them. Not the greatest relationship.
Well,
So
that's
just a
fair.
thing, just a heads up. I don't know how much of a sore spot that is for him, so just a thing you might want to keep in mind.
You covered a lot of bases with him while you met him.
Yeah, no, he's interesting. I feel like I've met people like that. So a lot of what he said didn't really surprise me, but it was interesting how willing he was to divulge him.
I'll keep my eye on him too. We better go.
Yeah, before he shoots
It's
the
about
door
us.
All right. So, a few minutes later, you'll find yourself boarding one of the shuttles in the hangar bay, and surprisingly, you find not just Galt, but about 5 members of the security team also boarding the shuttle. As he looks up, he says, "Well, it took you long enough to get here. Is everybody ready?"
Yep.
Yes, sir.
He kind of looks around at all of you and says, "Right." And he just turns and just goes back into the into the shuttle, boards the shuttle.
Boy, kind of telling that to himself as he walks in.
Yeah. All right.
Oof.
As the shuttle departs the Bellerophon and makes for the station. The while the basically the information that you get is that the Bellerophon is still in the process of negotiating for docking permissions, but shuttles are fine basically at this point. So you've been cleared to land with the shuttle. And as you do, you find yourself landing in basically just sort of on an exterior landing pad that has like atmosphere projectors around it. Similar actually to what you found on Zolaterra, where basically it's just sort of atmospheric projectors that creates like a corridor between, like an atmosphere corridor between the platform and the base itself. So as you land, even though you are technically outside and exposed to space, you are within breathable atmosphere and artificial gravity. Something that actually comes standard on stations like this. Nobody is on the platform to meet you when you land. You make your way towards the building. The airlock cycles as the I should ask, did y'all bring any of your NPCs with you?
Oh, NPCs. Are you bringing your Pokemon with you? Are you coming?
I choose you.
I feel like Vix would want to come, right? Vix would probably want to come.
Probably, yeah. More
I
than
feel like he'd
Yeah.
be coming.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think Patch would have refused to come.
Okay.
Being a Voxora and being like, this is corporate space here, so yeah.
Yeah, very fair.
Yeah. I think actually Vix is probably the only one that makes sense. I think everybody else is occupied in other ways. But
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. All right. So you make your way inside after the airlock cycles and stepping in. You step into immediately into what appears to be just sort of like a receiving area, basically like a reception area. And you can see numerous people around wearing like high prime mining uniforms. Mostly like they're kind of more like fatigues, so like these people look like they're probably off duty. Standing about. As you step in, however, like very few of them even like look at any of you. Like they seem to be standing having sort of their own like murmured conversations. And as you step in, you see those of them who do look, just sort of watch as you pass, like their heads kind of just sort of turning and following as you go.
Should probably have done some sort of disguise or obfuscation of identity here, huh?
Yeah, probably.
We're not on Sulan anymore.
Regardless, you make your way up to the reception desk where you can see there is a receptionist who is there, and he doesn't look up at you as you approach the desk. Vix just sort of looks around and is like, huh, friendly place.
Hello? Excuse me?
He doesn't look up. He just sort of reaches over without looking up and just says, you have to fill out a visitor registration form, and just keeps going.
Is the form required for every person that is accompanying us or as a single group?
At that, he finally looks up at you, and you can see as he looks up, there's just sort of like, there's like basically no expression as he looks up at you. He says, you may fill out a single form for your entire group.
Thank you. We shall fill this out as soon as possible.
He immediately goes back to, without another word, just goes back to what he's doing.
Wait, out of character, do we know, has Hayes like paid these people off, or like what was the context we were given for this again?
I don't think you were given context.
None.
Just all you know is that that Hayes' sources indicated this facility. So you're basically, this is sort of like trying to find any kind of
Okay.
yeah.
So we had no more information than
Nope.
that. Okay. Cool.
You gather that Hayes doesn't either. That's what you've kind of gathered. Just that this place was significant in his intel.
Quickly fills out the form and just like slides it back, like
Mhm. Yeah.
in what I'm assuming is like his eye shot.
Yeah. He doesn't really seem to react to it, and then just says, "Thank you. Someone will be with you momentarily."
Can I get like a mental read on this person? Like the lack of tone, like everybody acting kind of bizarre. It kind of it's uncomfy. Can I just like get a general like kind of skim on his thoughts here?
Yeah, sure.
I want to feel if anything is amiss.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you make a roll on this one. This is gonna be a difficulty 3. Is
Okay.
that true? Hold on. I think might not be. I think this is a difficulty 4 intellect task.
Okay, I'm trained in this ability.
Mm-hmm.
Free level of effort. So it's 2. I'm gonna spend 1 more level of effort.
Okay, so you just need a 3 or better right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm gonna I rolled a 1, so I think I'm gonna re-roll that.
Okay.
Because I'm afraid. Okay, that's an 8. That's
Okay.
better.
So there is it's kind of a confused mess, actually, what you get. Like not a lot particularly clear is coming through. There's one point where you hear you like hear mention you just hear the word delay, and then like that's it. That's like the one thing that you hear that is clear. Everything else just sounds like a jumble.
Like lots of people talking at once, or like he has many thoughts going on, or like what is the characteristics of the jumble?
Yep. Yes.
Oh.
Can I try someone else?
Like
I just want to see like is everybody acting like this, or is it just him?
I'll tell you what. I will give you like this would be there's an insight. I would say this would just be like an insight spend at this point.
Okay, I'll spend for that.
Okay. So you look around the space, kind of confused by that a little bit. Like it's not uncommon to sort of get a mess of thoughts when somebody is like, focused on a variety of like sort of stressed out, overwhelmed or something. It's not that uncommon to have that, but this is weird because it's like it does like okay. I'm trying to think of how to explain this. This is not the insight spend, by the way. I'm just sort of like setting up so it's to your question. It's not like you're hearing a bunch of different voices, but it's like that same kind of quality of like being in a room where like there's many people talking, but it's not like you're hearing multiple voices. It's just like but it's that same kind of like quality of like jumble. But yeah, like the one like other than like the singular thought that came through, which was the word delay, as you're looking around at other people, you're starting to notice, looking at their body language, that something is really off about these people.
Yeah.
they are they're very like bizarrely still. Like most people, they kind of move, they sway when they talk. There's, you know, gesticulation, there's, you know, expression. But as you're looking at people who are interacting with each other and sort of walking through the room, very little of that. If anything, it's you would say they almost look they almost seem to you like extremely lethargic, but that's not really like in terms of like the how vivacious their movements are, but they don't look tired. If anything, as you're looking, a couple of them don't even seem to be blinking.
I'm gonna kind of turn to the front desk person and say, you wouldn't mind if we just had a look around, would you?
He looks up at that and says, "It is station policy that any visitors, any non-corporate visitors to the station, wait for escort in public areas such as this."
Okay. And I'm gonna turn back. I'm gonna go back to our group, and kind of like quietly say, something is very, very wrong here. I mean, you guys can probably tell, but it's. Bina, can you get a read on these people?
Yeah, I was gonna say right when you asked to do some mind reading I was about to say, like, what do they feel like?
Almost nothing.
That's what I thought
Like
you'd say.
they're I mean, you can feel them, but it's like they're really far away.
Mm-hmm.
I think something else is in control of them.
Yeah, I'm getting that kind of feeling as well.
Galt is sort of looking around. You can see that, like, since you said, like, from the moment you said something's very wrong, like, he just sort of casually kind of straightened up and just hand on his sidearm, very, like, casually, just sort of looking around, says, "What's the play here?"
I mean, they seem very lethargic and unable to really do anything, so I don't even know if they'd be able to stop us.
Looks can be deceiving, however. It would behoove us to look in ways that we are being allowed, first of all, and then if we require anything else, change our tactics.
I am really getting... Hopefully this is just a wrong hunch, but I'm really feeling like Damian Ellis has something to do with all of this.
Try something here really quick. I kind of want to try something here very quickly.
Yeah.
Because not gonna like announce it or anything, but I want to try. This is a really weird thing, but I want to try to enthrall a couple of them. Because like theoretically, again, I don't know how. If they're under someone else's influence, maybe I'd be able to feel like some sort of tug of war, or like whatever, like I'm not trying, like I don't want to, like I'm not gonna cause disruption. I don't want to do like fast talk or anything and be like, hey, do a little dance with me. Like I just want to like see if I can like grab, because I think I can hold 3 people with enthrall. Yeah, I can hold up to 3 people at once. I just want to see if I can enthrall some of them for just like a second, just to see if.
I'd say this is a roll. It'll be an intellect roll, and the difficulty of it's gonna be 4.
Okay. I think I just have to roll it. Oh, no, I have a free level of effort.
Okay.
Brings it down to a 3. Actually, I'm gonna do two people so that I can use 1 more.
Okay.
Of those for the difficulty, and then I'll just roll from there.
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, you just need a difficulty, or you just need a 6 or better right now.
That's a 6.
Okay, so you said you're just doing 2, right?
No, it's a 9. Sorry, it's a 9. It's good. Yeah.
You're just doing 2?
Yeah.
2 of them,
I just
okay.
wanted 2. One from the others from
Yeah,
over by the
there's
door where
there's
we
a
were,
couple
and
of
the desk
there's
person maybe.
there's 2 people who are standing next to one of the observation windows that kind of looks out over the surface of the asteroid, who have kind of are standing weirdly close together and talking, like close, just slightly closer than like is comfortable for, I would say, like standard people interacting. And as you look over and you kind of focus on them and kind of exert, it's a bit of a struggle. Like it's harder than it usually is. Like you feel like it feels a bit like you're pushing something out of the way first, but like you know when you're really like struggling to like put your weight into moving something, it almost feels like that
like
mentally.
my executive dysfunction.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it feels a bit like that. And then very slowly you see both of them turn towards you, but they don't appear to be like enthralled. I mean, they have stopped what they are doing, but they don't appear to be like fully under your thrall.
Mhm.
They just sort of turn and look at you.
Yeah, I hold it for like a couple seconds and then I let it go and just see what happens.
Yeah, when you let it go, they just sort of slowly lose, like their focus shifts from you and they just turn back to exactly the positions they were in before and continue talking.
Video game NPCs, anyone?
The only word I got out of his head was the word delay.
Delay us?
Galt just sort of they're giving us the runaround.
Yeah. So could always ask where the bathroom is. That's always a
Right?
Tina.
And she disappears.
Yeah.
I could just go.
This is Galt just sort of kind of looks around. And he nods to like some of his men who just sort of casually spread about around the room. Just sort of like a couple of them sit down on some of the like the couches and whatever. Galt walks over to one of the windows and like as he does, he like stands there and you can see one of the other people who's over by the window just sort of turn and look at him. He just nods and then kind of leans up against the window, and you can, those of you who are watching him can see that he is observing the room in the reflection on the window while he's looking out. He's just sort of like leaning, his hand is just very very casually on his sidearm as he's leaning up. It looks like he just has his thumb hooked through his belt, but he's just sort of leaning. And
Do we have comms with them, or do we only have comms between ourselves?
oh, you probably have
Between
you'd probably
Awaken.
have like a comms channel.
Okay. I think he'll make sure, like, I don't know if I'm just adding this to him on my own, but like I feel like at least he's got some kind of level of soundproofing with his helmet. He's gonna like talk to the comms to doesn't really need to, the Awakener, the crew of the Awakener definitely hears it, but it's mainly directed towards the people coming with us, the group. If anything happens, non-lethal, please. It doesn't seem like they're exactly in control.
You don't get any response of acknowledgement from any of them. You see one of them like glance in your direction and then glance at Galt, who does not make any response. So Bina, as you vanish, none of them have noticed that you vanished. None of them even looked at you.
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
I think she'll just kind of like, well, we're all like, everyone's kind of like in a group still besides Galt's crew, and so she's just gonna kind of like quietly just kind of be like, I'll just go see. I'll see what I can find.
Could I come with? Would that be too much? Because then, if you're able to, anything I see, anywhere I see.
I've done that, right? The invisibility on other people.
It's
Sorry, continue saying what you're
more like a
Yeah.
you've created a bubble, but yes.
saying. Bubble.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because if anywhere I see, I can literally teleport back here and get everyone with us.
True. Okay. What? I don't remember how he did this. It's a 4 initial cost for the
I think
me.
if I remember correctly, I feel like I doubled it, but I gave an additional, like an initial cost of of 4 on top of like its standard 4 cost.
Okay, yeah, I'll do another 4.
Yeah.
2.
And if
bring-
not, that's how I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, no big deal. I can do math. We're good. Okay, I'll make my bubble bigger.
Okay.
And I
And
will-
Taeyeon, like seconds later, just also vanishes.
and then you can see me.
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay, cool. I was looking. I thought you were like there, but I just okay, cool.
Okay, let's do this, and
Ready.
we'll start moving.
All right. And I think that's where we're going to take our break.
Ooh.
So
Ooh.
I intentionally got us to the break a little bit later because I have a feeling that this is going to be another like longish episode, and I wanted to make sure that the break was closer to the middle. So
But I need more water.
yeah. So we're going to take our break. We'll be back in a few minutes. So we'll see you in just a little bit. Welcome back, everybody. Ginger Meowster, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, everybody. What a time perfect timing, just like right as we went to break. It's like you planned it. But anyway, welcome, everybody. We are here. This is, for those of you who are new to the channel, we're Rule of Lore. This is Infinite Horizon, our sci-fi supers Cypher system RPG show. And currently we have a sort of expedition into unknown regions of space with some maybe semi-shady characters who are here for nefarious reasons that our crew is trying to undermine.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, and as John Numa has put into the chat below via Nightbot, if you're brand new to Infinite Horizon, there is a handy quick reference guide to kind of get you up on who everybody is, and the basic vibe of the show should be, just enough to get you familiar with if you're interested in sticking around, familiar with what's going on, more or less. The rest, I trust you to pick it up from context. But welcome, and thank you again for the raid. So, when we left off, Bina had used her... Holy crap. Heart of Handprints. You were just waiting for that opportunity, weren't you? Thank you so much for gifting subs. Oh my gosh. Wow, thank you. Alright, well, when we left off, we were going... This is me tabbing away from Streamlabs so I can't be distracted, but when we left off, Bina had used her powers to turn herself and Taeyeon invisible, projecting a bubble of light, sort of that going around them, so that we won't have to think too hard about the physics of the light not being able to make them see each other inside. We're not going to worry about that. So,
We've got a time travel.
this is sci-fi light, okay? This is sci-fi light. The science is only relevant. We only bring the science in when it's relevant and serves the story.
Soft sci-fi.
Soft sci-fi.
It's sci heavy, sci light, fire heavy.
Yes, correct. So, as you the two of you make your way in this kind of projected bubble of invisibility that that Bina has created, you watch as Galt and his team sort of spread casually through the room, sort of unobtrusively. As you begin kind of moving, Peach, Mason, and CT, what are y'all doing?
Are there is there like multiple doors in this room, or what's kind of the
Yeah,
layout again?
so basically like there's the door to the airlock that you came through, and there is and goes directly from the airlock into this sort of like semi-open reception area. Where the reception desk is, there is a door that you can see that seems to go back into like some like back offices and to where the reception desk, like the people working the reception desk would go. And then there's sort of like a short corridor that ends in another door, that is labeled lift, and another door just sort of on looking at that end door. There's another one that goes off to the left, that is it's not labeled, but you've seen a couple people go in and out, and it looks like it goes into another corridor. So yeah, that's kind of the doors that are leading out of this place.
I'm gonna kind of turn to Mason and CT and just kind of say, so what's our play?
I think just wait, and hopefully Taeyeon and Bina find something and not look too suspicious.
Checks watch and then like kind of looks over at the reception desk. How long must we wait for our escort through the facility? And it's already been several minutes.
You saying to the person at the reception desk?
Yes.
Yeah. They don't look up, and they say, an escort will be with you shortly. Please wait in the reception area for your escort.
May I know the identity of this escort?
The escort is being selected as we speak.
Is there a bathroom nearby?
They turn and look at you, and
Stomach's a bit upset.
they turn and they say, he looks kind of in the direction of the corridor, and says, there is actually, you know what, I'm gonna make you make a roll. I'm gonna make you make a roll here.
What kind of roll is
That
this?
depends, because I'm gonna say this is probably like some sort of
This is a deception roll?
because unless Peach like had a lot to drink before she came on the mission.
No, she's lying. She just wants to get a peek.
Okay.
So deception. Okay.
And I think you know full well what kind of check this is, Olivia.
Yes. What?
Yeah. This is gonna be.
What's the difficulty?
The difficulty on this one is going to be 4.
Okay. I'm trained in deception.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? This is pleasant social. This is a pleasant social interaction.
It is stretching the definition of pleasant social interaction, but sure.
I'm not threatening him. I'm asking where the restroom is. I would say that's a pleasant interaction.
Mason would not get away with this.
Do you have a restroom? Is that a fucking threat? Like, is that a threat?
Peach has the appealing descriptor. She's not, you know.
Yeah, that's much more of like a Mason interaction. Just like,
yes.
Okay,
yeah.
then that is down to difficulty 1, and free level of effort, so I don't have to roll.
Okay, sounds good. Are you gonna roll anyway?
No.
Okay. Just checking.
I only have 1 XP now, so.
I see. No. Yeah. You.
Don't think of things.
All right. So you see that he finally looks up at you, and then just kind of sort of again still with no expression, and sort of like sort of eyes sort of glazed, as then he turns and looks toward the corridor, and he says, go through the door on your left, and it should be the first door on the right.
Great, thanks.
Please do not go beyond the clearly marked public area. You will be apprehended.
Okay, sure thing. Taeyeon, CT, do you guys have to go to the bathroom?
Taeyeon is invisible. You cannot see Taeyeon.
Sorry, I meant CT and Mason.
Yes, I think I also would need to use the facilities as well.
I mean, who knows when our escort's gonna be here? Might as well.
Yes, I in fact do
You
have.
guys suck.
Mr. Galt will receive them and tell them to wait if we are delayed in any amount of time.
Okay, I'm gonna offer you a GM intrusion.
Oh
This
my
is a
God.
group intrusion.
Everybody's leaving at the same time. We've lost
Oh,
all
wow.
subtlety that we just had.
Oh wow, I need to go to the toilet. I need to go to the bathroom as well.
Oh yeah, me too.
Visible kid.
I was
invisible
just
ones are like-
asking. It didn't go to the
We
bathroom
lost-
in groups, but
Yeah.
We went from like 95% subtlety to about 3%.
It's immediately.
This is.
We're out of there though. We're gone.
Yeah,
We've
Yeah, you guys are already
okay,
there.
but here's the thing: where are you going? Because that's an important question. While I set the intrusion decks aside here.
Any direction that appears to have been like the way into the facility.
Yeah.
Okay. So that would either be the lift or the corridor. That's up to you to decide.
What do you think? Oh, I guess which one has? Which one would be more easily accessible for us who
Thing
are
is,
not visible?
both of them are through like a door that will has to be opened. So you are more likely to be able to get away with the corridor because it's not directly within eyesight of anybody who glances down that direction. Like you might be able to get away with it. So
Okay, that makes more sense. Then we'll do
Also,
that.
are there any windows in these doors? Or it's just like still.
yeah,
still
there
doors?
would be like there would be.
Okay.
So
Okay.
while you're doing that, sorry, this is a group intrusion, but not for everybody. This is for everybody except for Taeon and Bina. So, y'all, you can spend some XP to make it go away, but otherwise,
No, this is fun.
Okay,
Let's do
cool.
it.
All right, so all of you go ahead. The three of you get an XP.
great, cool.
I haven't seen one of these for a
3
while.
XP intrusion, yeah.
I broke even.
Yeah.
Let's see, what do we have here?
Should have just gone by myself.
Yeah.
That is so funny. Yes, I too would like to release.
I forgot who I was talking to. I thought they would just be like, "Yeah, me too," but nope.
Oh my
Of course,
god.
two worst
Wow,
You're
liars.
the
Really-
actor, and that's it. That's it in this
These are
movie.
really not good for this situation. Hold on. None of these are relevant to this situation. That's so random. Okay, no. I think the intrusion deck may be a little too random for this case. So, I'm gonna try one more poll. Let's see if I find anything interesting out of this. No, okay, not helpful. Okay, so as you do that, the person at the desk just they look up again, and suddenly you see that everyone else, all the other like miners in the room, all simultaneously turn. Several of them step into your path. Not aggressively, they just step into your path, and the receptionist just says, "Please stay within public areas and wait for an escort."
Oh, yeah, I
Like-
can
Galt has like pistol drawn and is like pointing,
Ugh.
and it's just like very very like, and the other like other members of the team are also like have weapons like up.
Okay, well, if I throw up on your floor, it's on you.
Perhaps we will just wait for the escort when we need to use the facilities then, I guess.
Okay. And I'm gonna take a seat back down.
Yeah. As you settle down, they all sort of simultaneously slowly turn back and go to exactly where they were standing before. And like making no acknowledgement whatsoever of any of the weapons that have been drawn on any of them. Galt, just sort of looking around, just slowly lowers the weapon, but doesn't holster it this time. He just sort of leans against the window, not even trying to hide the fact anymore that he's like watching the room. And in all of that, Bina and Taeon, you're able to sort of slip through the door, which opens and closes seemingly without anybody really like
Good distraction,
reacting.
team.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was a good distraction, and we also we become specialized in stealth and speed stuff while we're
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
in this, so we're very sneaky.
All right. So, let's see. You the two of you, as you make your way through that corridor, that door into the corridor, it is really just kind of like a long corridor, probably no more than about like 10 feet across, at its widest point. Sort of the corridor itself is like being inside of a long, like it's hexagonal in shape, basically. Like it's sort of angled at the corners. But at its widest point in the kind of the middle of the corridor, it is about 10 feet across. As you make your way through this, you can see several doors immediately to the right. When you enter, you can see there is like a restroom. As you a restroom that Peach, CT, and Mason are not currently using, and you make your way continue down the corridor. And there are other doors, some of which, by the way, these doors do have like locked and unlocked indicators on them, and most of the ones that you pass are locked. But it's odd because some of the ones that you're passing are things like oh gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? There's like a geology lab that you're passing. There is like you pass a like living quarters, like that or not living quarters, but it looks like a corridor that leads to the living quarters that is locked as well. And like basically the like really common things that you would expect would be in use during the standard workday, the doors are locked.
Okay, interesting. Again, I'm always going to ask this: any windows to any of these?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
just...
Yeah.
Okay. So I think Beanie would notice that every time he goes past the door, he like looks inside, just a quick peek to make sure he can look inside, and then would get back to following.
I can probably get us past some of these, but maybe it would have been a good idea to try to see if any of them in the front had a key card.
Oh no,
Like
don't worry.
looking for any unlocked.
No, don't worry. I've been taking peeks inside because then I can teleport in there and bring you with me.
I don't want to tire you out.
Oh no, honestly been getting a lot easier to do it with how much I've been doing it now.
Okay, that's good.
We probably should be careful that whatever's happening, they might not need to see us. It seems very mental.
Yeah, that's
whatever's
true.
happening.
At least we are actually invisible this time.
Yeah.
Cameras can't pick us up.
That's a good thing.
But discerning minds might. And I tried to poke at some of the people in the waiting room while we were there. This is where like walking down the hallway. And it felt like not quite like a tug of war, but I had to get over something to get any of their attention, mentally, so.
Yeah, okay.
Someone definitely has some sort of mind abilities.
Oh boy, what exactly does Hayes think is gonna be here?
I don't think he even knows. Have we passed anything that's like? Are there any? I mean, I don't think quarters is really where you're looking for. Like lab.
Yeah, I
Or
mean, you've seen
office,
a
maybe?
geology lab, like the
Okay.
kind of place that like standard on a mining outpost like this, where they would have like people taking samples of like the various levels of stone whenever they breach into like a natural like fissure in the asteroid, or whenever they reach like a new material, they would take it and analyze it and see if like basically just like checking the composition of this place, of the asteroid, making sure like the kind of place that would also be there to like analyze the like and like the stability of the asteroid itself, to make sure that the mining operation isn't destabilizing the the composition of the asteroid and all that. So there has been a geology lab that you've passed.
Okay. I think that's definitely something that has potential.
Do you
Otherwise
think you
we
can
could
get in?
Try.
My way could be like the last find like plan B.
Yeah, let's try it. We'll try that lab. What is the locking here? Is it like a key or is it like a digital
No, it's
mechanism?
a digital
Is there
mechanism.
some...
Yeah. There's even
Um,
there also appears to be like, you can see a handprint scanner as on most of these doors, as well as like an ID scanner.
Okay. Would I know like
Sorry, let me.
I would like to
sorry, just to clarify, on the geology lab, there's a handprint and an ID scanner. On most of the doors, it's just an ID scanner.
scanner? Okay. I'm wondering. I mean, we can either try to get really crafty with it, and I can try to use light to see the handprint that's already there, because I don't think I have any fingerprints. But, or could I try to physically override the locking mechanism, like bypass the alarm and just unlock the door with like my tools?
Could,
Would I be capable of doing that, or is that like way outlandish?
I mean, it's certainly within the realm of possibilities. I don't think you could do it while maintaining your invisibility.
Cool. All right.
But I mean, you can do it.
Yeah.
It is within your ability to do that. To basically like
Is there a
hotwire the
window
door.
on this door?
Yeah.
Yeah, hotwire the door. Oh, there is a
Yeah.
window on the door. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm worried about getting caught so soon. Because I can turn it off and I can pick the invisibility right back up again. But I'm worried about getting seen. We haven't seen anyone yet, but that I feel like that means they could just come out of nowhere.
I could get us in there. I just need you to. Can you feel if there's anyone in there already?
Yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to
I mean,
do.
you could look inside and see people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a bunch.
There
of
are people in there. Yeah, there are definitely people in there who look like they're at workstations in the lab.
Well, we will be invisible going in, so.
Do they look out of it like the people at the front?
I think I'm gonna have you make a roll on that one, because this is gonna be the
Yeah.
one thing you need to like sort of observe here for a little bit. So yeah, this is gonna be a difficulty intellect, and there's gonna be an intellect task, and the difficulty on this one, it's not gonna be like terribly difficult, but so I think I'm just gonna put this as a difficulty 3.
3. Okay, and that's intellect.
Can I use encouragement?
Yeah, I think so. Unless it...
Social interactions, or no, wait, discerning, sensing emotions and dispositions, to give an asset to Tam.
Yeah, you could do that. That doesn't interfere at all with your invisibility, right?
I don't believe so. I can look though.
I'm gonna say encouragement by putting Taeon on Bina's shoulders so he can look in through the window easier.
So cute.
It doesn't. I don't think either of them have anything about any sort of like concentrating.
No,
or...
but encouragement, does it involve like talking to Taeon?
Not for being as we've flavored
Sure.
it as it's a brain
Okay.
thing.
Cool. Yeah. So, yeah, great. So, what do you got, Drac?
I got power shift intelligence.
Okay.
Wait, no, that's for for tasks as well, or knowledge. I mean,
yeah,
knowledge,
you know
science,
what?
and crafting.
Yeah.
I get.
I'm
Would that count?
gonna allow it in this case. It's sort of yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
the asset from Bina, and I'll use a 3 level of
Okay,
effort.
so are you gonna roll or?
Oh,
Okay,
absolutely.
good.
I'm
Cool.
always
Cool.
gonna roll.
Yeah.
11.
Okay, great. So you kind of peer through and you watch the people at the stations for a bit. You haven't really, like, I would say you probably haven't been, like, at least in around, like, in labs very much, like, not enough to, like, know a lot about the general procedures that happen in labs, but you're pretty sure that in a lab where people are doing research and testing stuff, they should be like recording observations periodically, and these people are not. Like, if anything, just sort of watching them, they look like they're just at their stations. They look like they're working at it like a casual glance, but as you stand there and just sort of watch them, they look like they're just standing there.
Okay, it kind of looks like they're just as out of it, enthralled. I don't know, as everyone in the front, but I can guess in there. Hold on, I'm just gonna place a hand on Bina's shoulder and use teleportation to teleport into the room.
Okay.
This is like, was it like? I don't think we've done very many like tag team things. This is very much like a ghosting maneuver.
Yeah. Yeah, you sort of
Oh, good.
yeah, you just sort of step across that sort of folded space into the room, and as you look around, none of them react to your presence. So it seems like they're not aware of you.
Okay. In, yeah. I was gonna say
You
split up,
can-
but I just remembered we're in a
So
bubble.
you can talk to me because you have your helmet on, but I can't
Oh,
respond.
yeah.
So
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I'll probably just do it like in text then, for like a little group chat.
And if you
So,
can see me, I mean, like I can like nod and like shake head like in affirmative and negative. So
yeah.
but I can't reply to you right now. I don't think.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think he'll obviously speak and then notice that you can't reply verbally. Just be like, okay, it seems like everyone here is acting kind of odd, but not actually doing anything at the stations. Maybe there's something we can find here. Was that too much effort?
Bina will kind of just like point over to as if there's like a front desk or any sort of anyone who's nearest to us with research open. If we can just go look at it.
Sure. You as you sort of move around looking, some of these people don't even have like they have their terminals facing them, but they're not even on. Like, they're not activated. They're just sort of facing them. And sort of you kind of like walk through this space. Like, the terminals that are on, several of them just are on, basically like just displaying the high prime logo, like as sort of like basically like the ready screen essentially on a lot of them. And as you go kind of like station to station, in terms of stuff that is just sort of obvious and available, there's basically nothing, because like nobody's actually doing research, which means that there's nothing on. Like, nothing is up and open.
Are there any terminals that are not in, on, so I'm looking for available, as in like there's no one next to them?
Yeah, there's a few of them. Like, the rooms is not completely occupied. Like, there's maybe about 6 people in this room. But there's...
I want to find a terminal that's far back.
Sure.
Like to like the back of the room, not facing anyone.
Yeah. So you can kind of make your way over to that without too much difficulty.
And she'll kind of like inquisitively like, should we like point at it?
All right.
Give me 1 sec. Do you want to come over with me? And
Yeah,
I want to have Bina follow me, and then I'm not going to do anything ridiculous. I want to go to a terminal that's in front of someone that's turned off and turn it on, and just see if they react to it turning on.
Yeah. Okay. So you turn on that terminal. They do not react at all.
Okay, I think we might be good if we mess around with our terminal down there, or even this one doesn't.
Bina, this is...
seem like they're noticing.
Bina, this is starting to feel a little eerily familiar to you.
Yeah, I already was thinking that. Bina's going to turn to Tan and kind of like think for a second on how to convey what she's saying, and then I'm gonna make my eyes glow green.
I don't know what that means.
She's gonna do like a little like fake zombie like walk like
Oh, are they under the control of something similar to the artifact? What? Oh boy. Okay.
I'm
Well,
gonna point back at the other terminal again, and
yeah.
we'll go back to the one at the back of the room and see if we can turn it on.
Okay. Yeah, you make your way over to the terminal in the back of the room. Yeah, it comes on pretty easily, and you basically open up to the welcome screen that like with the High Prime logo and everything. And you can see immediately where there's like, it's not like encrypted or anything like that. It's a mining facility. It's a geology lab. So like you can see where like just the different file storage and whatnot is on there. Opening that file storage, you as you're looking through like what looks like various like geology or geological sample studies that have been cataloged meticulously throughout. Which one of you is actually like doing like actually at the terminal, like working the terminal?
Ooh.
I
I
might
don't
be.
know. 'Cause yeah,
Okay.
might be
I
you.
am gonna have you make a quick roll here. It's not gonna be a tough
Okay.
roll, but this is more to be like trying to basically parse what you're seeing here. So
Yeah.
this is gonna be an intellect task, and the difficulty is gonna be 3 on this.
Okay. Would I be able to get an asset from Tan, like reading over my shoulder because he can talk?
Can I help in any way? Yeah.
Like him reading it with me? If I'm
Sure.
making the
Yes.
roll?
We'll say. Ooh, actually, in this case, I'm gonna say if
It's okay.
Taeon has something like some sort of relevant, like related skill or something that can be applied here.
He has the info, the power shift, and like that
That's-
was the reason I was
yeah,
bringing
power
it
shift
up.
and
That's
intellect,
true.
yeah, and
That's
science,
true.
so,
That's
yeah.
true. So like, yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So I'll say you
Okay.
can go ahead and have an asset from Taeon.
Okay, so you said it was 3
Yep.
total? 4.
3.
3? Okay. Asset. I have a free level of effort.
Mhm. Okay. Is that all of it?
I think I have to roll.
Okay.
I don't think I have anything else that I can.
Sounds good. So yeah, you've got
Tasks involving sight.
no. I mean, yes,
I'm
in the sense that you are
looking.
looking at it,
Reading.
but
No, that's not the point of this.
but without your sight, you would need to turn on some
No.
sort of like assistive tech that will read it out loud
Yeah,
to you, and
yeah.
that's bad. So
Yeah. No, I don't think I have anything else that can
it
help
is,
me,
in
so.
the strictest definition, a task involving sight. But
All right. That's an 11.
okay, cool. So as you're going through, you're looking at these geology reports, and one of them, surveys. That's the word I was looking for. Geological surveys. As you're looking through them, you're starting to recognize like patterns in them. In the like, you realize that some of the like strings of numbers that you're seeing seem to be dates. And as you're like looking through some of them, you realize that the last geological survey that was filed, like they seem to be like happening at like regular intervals, like every month or so. The last one that was filed here was a year ago.
So, okay. Well, hold on. First of all, here you go. And then he's gonna take off his computer, wrist computer, and put it onto Bean's wrist, and just type whatever you're thinking, and I can read it.
I can just text you from my terminal, I guess. I was just trying to be faster. I think Vina would immediately be like hand signs and try to like again do zombie block. No, okay, yeah, she'll text you from her terminal to yours. yeah, she'll point out the dates and kind of say what Lucas just said to send back up to you.
That's weird. Okay, whatever happened about a year ago. Then, are there any drawers anywhere? Is everything just digital?
There are drawers, yes. That's a bit more conspicuous, I think, than like that would be a bit more conspicuous than turning on a terminal.
Yeah.
There are other files on this computer. I'm just like that's the first one that you open is those like geological surveys.
Do they note down what they found? What was the last thing they found? Anything like that?
In the geological surveys, it basically is just like a bunch of like stuff that neither of you I don't think would understand, like like readings of like soil composition and like stone composition, like that kind of stuff. And a lot of it is just basically like there are like short summaries of each report, but for the most part it's also the kind of stuff that like you don't wouldn't understand. But for the most part, it looks like what you are understanding is that each one of the surveys is basically turning back like that, like, oh yeah, stable, everything's good, we're good, we're stable, like, right, like all of the reports that you check and you look at the summaries, it's basically that. Like occasionally you'll find ones with like annotations attached to them, which is like, oh, we should probably like steer away from section alpha main as due to pockets of gas that were discovered within the blah 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 whatever, potential hazard, impassable, like things like that. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about let's check these other files? Maybe there's something more to it. But at least from this, it seems like whatever happened was very unexpected, because it doesn't seem like they even realized anything was going to happen until it did.
Right. So as you go checking through the files, I'm gonna cut back to the in the reception area as all of you are just sort of standing, kind of like relaxed, like trying to appear relaxed. As all of the station personnel have gone back to exactly where their positions were when they came on.
Mason's gonna just take a seat at a table and just pull out a deck of cards and just kind of make like he's playing some kind of card game. Well, he's gonna just set up a solitaire game.
I two things. One, I like knowing that this is kind of clearly related to like artifact Ellis, mind control, all that bullshit. Do I feel any like being previously connected to an artifact, like do I feel any of that in this place? Like I know that's kind of a vague question, and my second follow-up question is I might use premonition to figure out a similar thing, but I just want to ask first. Like,
I mean, no, you don't feel anything like that, but consider also that like when it comes to like the artifact, even that you haven't normally felt anything unless you were specifically directly in its presence.
Yeah.
So
okay. So then my follow-up is I want to see if I can like kind of taking in the space and like kind of knowing what that power feels like, if I can use premonition to see like if it has been here recently, or like if because I can find out something related to like a location specifically. So I was wondering like would I know if it's been here recently?
I will say like as you're kind of getting ready to do that, the door to like that leads kind of back towards like the reception area opens, and another individual in like the mining uniform like steps out. This one, an Anzalonian woman who steps out and looks kind of in your direction and walks over to you and says, "Welcome to this high prime mining facility. I am to be your escort. Welcome. What is the purpose for your visit?"
We're here for a tour of the facility. We are here at the request of very powerful man. Maybe you've heard of him. Hayes. What's his first name?
Alan Hayes.
Calvin
Yeah.
Hayes.
Yeah.
Um, she just sort of like doesn't seem phased by that and says, "Well, you were not in our schedule, but I believe I can take you through the facility. Please come
Great.
with me."
It's really appreciated.
Will we be looking at the actual mines themselves at all?
The mines are off limits to all except for authorized high prime personnel. It's a matter of
Understood.
safety and liability.
Sorry, what was your name again?
My name is Annalise.
Annalise, nice to meet you.
She turns and says, "Shall we begin the tour?" And she just turns and starts walking towards the hallway, and Galt pushes off from the window. Says, "Yeah, let's start the tour." And then just kind of looks around. And
I think at this point they get a series of memos from Bina on like the terminals that says,
Blowing up.
That's just kind of like everyone's sort of like made it through, found a lab, like
yeah.
and like they're like no one's moving here either, and they start to get more frantic. She's like, not gonna lie, they kind of remind me of the Warped.
boy.
Like in all caps, last
Oh.
survey was 1 year ago. Like not very
boy.
coherent, but like very to the point. Like we
Yeah.
have about a dozen messages that have come in
Yeah.
to the group chat from Vina.
Yeah, as you're following Annalise, like walking towards the not the door that Bina and the others went through, but to the lift. You can see that the people that you pass, like many of them, just sort of stop what they're doing, and they just sort of their heads turn, following you as you walk. And as you enter into the lift, Annalise steps in behind you and sets he presses the button that's labeled lower labs, basically.
And Annalise, how long have you been working here on this station?
I have been a member of the mining team since for about almost 2 years. This was the first of. Oh, sorry, no. Sorry, I'm checking my timeline here. No, it would actually been she was for almost 5 years. This was the first of the deep space mining facilities that was established by corporations in the newly uncovered region of space. I've been here ever since the
benefits?
beginning. What? Sorry, what did you say?
Good benefits?
She just sort of looks at you and then doesn't respond.
Do you have a family, Annalise?
She looks at you, kind of blinks, frowns for a moment, and then goes right back to like totally silent. The lift continuing to go down. It finally stops, with her saying basically nothing the entire time that the lift is going. And Mason, you can see Galt still has not holstered his sidearm. He just sort of has it sort of in front of him, and is just sort of looking around, watching her, looking around, watching her, just sort of going, sort of shifting view. And as the lift rolls to a stop, you you can see through kind of like the window in the door that it leads out into not a corridor exactly, but more like a sort of like an open plan space that looks like there are sort of numerous other doors leading off of it. And as you are standing there, the lift doors open to admit you into the corridor, or into that space. And you step out into space, which says, "This is the level of the base containing our general laboratories. This is where the majority of survey samples are first processed to be passed up to the geology lab afterwards. This is where we ensure that all findings, all samples in the mines and all findings are safe to be brought in for further testing." And she says, "Over there we have our hydroponics lab where we grow food for the workers."
Are all of the, is it kind of the same as it was for them? Or is are there workers like there in the labs or no?
You that's actually a good question, because as you sort of enter, kind of moving towards the center of this space, you, Peach, as you're glancing around, and CT and Mason, you're noticing this as well. As you're looking at some of the doors, you can see people in the windows of those labs just sort of looking out at you. And a couple, and like as you're looking at one, you can see like a couple more people sort of join them in the window looking at you. And Galt, who's probably standing closest to Mason, just sort of says under his breath to you, Mason, "Fuck, I don't like the look of this. This has ambush written all over it."
Yeah, I'm getting that feeling too. Still, ease up on the weapon a little bit, soldier.
He doesn't respond to you. He's just sort of, he's like, his eyes are sort of darting from door to door. And as you move ahead, you can see that Annalise is leading you towards one of the other labs, kind of like at the opposite end. She says, "This is our primary intake lab. This is where the majority of samples taken from the mine are processed." And she goes over to it and opens the door and then kind of steps aside.
May I ask, what have been the grand majority of rock samples that you have collected on this asteroid?
Primarily, the samples that have been taken are of high ferrous composition. Much of the mining of this asteroid is for mining ferrous materials for use and processing in many respects, such as ship hulls and weapons processing and similar things, even in construction. As you all kind of like filter into this lab, there's nobody in this one. And in fact, much of the lab looks like a lot of it has been like equipment in this lab. A lot of it looks like it has been cleared away from the center. And as you're kind of like weirdly in an odd pattern though, because it almost looks like a lot of the equipment in this lab has been pushed away from the center and creates like almost like a barrier between like the door and sort of like the center of the lab itself. Doesn't look in any way like it would be practical for working conditions. And she says, "One of our most significant findings is still being kept in this lab. Let me show you." And we'll cut back to Taeyeon and Bina.
That's so creepy.
God, this is great. I love it.
Taeyeon.
Love to split the party. It makes me so happy.
Taeyeon and Bina, you're sort of looking through some of the other files. Now, kind of going through. It stands to reason that like anything that you now have sort of like a reference date to look for in the files, now that you know when whatever happened here happened, most likely. As you start sort of searching through those other files, some of them look like scientist logs, and like looking at like a couple of the older ones, just sort of to be sure, shows them to be just sort of pretty generic, kind of boring, like, I don't know, like just some of them are work logs and some of them are personal logs, and you can see sort of a variety of the individuals that were working here. One or two of them you even recognize from either in this room with you or from like the sort of reception area. As you're looking through, you start sort of moving forward through the logs. You actually find like some of the more recent ones that were like a little closer. These actually stop right around the same date. Actually, these go a little bit later than the last geological survey, but only by a couple of weeks or so. And as you sort of start looking at them, one of the reports, you can see like a tired Terran scientist who, like, you can see like bags under his eyes. He's just like, all right, personal log, entry 37. We started to work on a new part of the mine today. We broke in some natural caverns there, so it made some of the work a little easier. One of the miners uncovered a strange sort of anomaly within the rock the rock wall of the cavern itself, and upon opening it, revealed some kind of anomalous structure. Initial tests showed nothing, so we brought it into we brought it into the induction lab to get it tested to do sort of finer testing. We've been working around the clock lately, as demands from high prime corporate have come in to move things along, but we're currently working to identify the unknown anomalous object in case it presents hazards to the workers and to working conditions. Guess we'll update on that later. End log. Sort of clicking onto the next one, you see a different scientist. This one, a Keldro woman, says, personal log 34F supplement. It's really incredible. The anomalous object that we found within the mine is returning no results, not responding to any of our tests whatsoever. It's starting to really present a really interesting puzzle here. I'm not sure what we've found, to be completely honest. But it's exciting. I mean, we knew coming out to this edge of space, this unknown, unexplored area was gonna potentially change everything, and it very well might have. End log. There are a few more logs that of the type, kind of similar sort of things, like just continuing tests. But then they start to get really strange. You see the original scientist once again, who like turns on the log and he says, personal log number. We have maintenance crews checking for some kind of gas leak. About half the mining crew has been admitted to sick bay, citing headaches, vertigo, similar symptoms affecting cognitive function. And you can see that he kind of like turns and looks over his shoulder. Not like he's checking for anybody. He looks like he's looking at somebody. But there's nobody over his shoulder. And you can see, yeah, no, give me 1 second. And he turns back over, back to the log, and he says, I've been seeing some. You can see that he like there's sort of like a sheen of sweat on his brow as he's just sort of says, haven't been sleeping too well, which has led to some side effects, I think, in myself. Likely a sign of whatever gas leak there might be within the base. It's just, and you can see as he kind of starts wincing, his eye twitching, and he says, it's just so loud all the time. It's like I hear their dreams. I can hear them. They're just so loud. And he just turns and says, leave me alone. And then the log just cuts out. The final log that you find, the very last one, is the Anzalonian woman again, and you can see that tears that have streaked through the grime on her face, and she's just there, and you can see as she's just sort of twitching and very jumpy, like very, very jumpy, and she says, they've made it inside. This is probably the last thing that I will be able to do before they... She looks up, like, dead stare at the camera and just says, they're inside. And then the log cuts out, and that's the last one.
I didn't know what they were getting into.
No, they really didn't. That was definitely the artifact. I remember the professor mentioning it never coming up in any of the tests.
In these little journals, could we get a, like, it was down into the asteroid? That's what it sounded like, right?
Sorry, what are you asking?
Like the mine, like where this artifact is
Yeah,
gonna be.
yeah.
Like they
It was
were mining
yes.
it out. Okay.
It sounds like they did bring it back into the base.
Oh, okay.
They're talking about bringing
Are
it
there-
into the induction lab.
Okay. So
On the bottom
I-
level.
I want to go through and see if I can find like a log of its last, like the last logged location of it.
The last logged location of it is the induction lab, where it hasn't been updated since around the same time.
That's a place to start.
Yeah.
That's not this one. That's the down one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it'd be easy enough to find that, like, on the terminal, like find the location of the induction lab on the terminal.
Just for was there a name on the file of either of these people?
No, they were listed with an ID
Okay.
number. That's how they were recorded.
Okay.
But I will say, Taeyeon, your instincts are starting to, like, kick in, and as you feel that, you kind of glance over your shoulder, and as you turn to the room, every single person in the room is turned towards the terminal that you're standing at. We're gonna cut back down to
Yeah.
everybody else.
Cool.
So, as Annalise, your tour guide, is sort of moving towards the center of the room, says, "Let me show you what we found." And she moves towards the center of the room and, like, walks in between, like, sort of some of the larger pieces of equipment that have been kind of pushed in. There's sort of a gap that's kind of been left in the middle of them.
Be careful.
Are you following?
ET standing by the door.
Yep.
All right. Moving up, Peach.
Peach, this is kind of looking at Mason, remembering of the first time we snuck into a research facility and found a scary item. like kind of just looking at him going, this again.
All right. So you move up. Galt turns and says, "You two, stay by the door. The rest of you with us." And and you can see as two of the teams stand, kind of move to either side of the door. CT kind of where you are. The other three follow Galt and Peach and Mason. As you make your way in to the like kind of actually which one of you is in the lead of the group? And
I'll go.
Okay. All right. So Mason, as you kind of like push your way through, like you kind of have to squeeze a little bit through in between the pieces of equipment. You squeeze through, and as you turn, you can see where Annalise is standing, kind of in the center of this obscured place. Where in the center of the room, there is a like what looks like sort of like a mobile like work table, like the kind that like surgeons often have next to like their surgeries to keep like their tools and whatnot on, or that might be there, but this one has like drawers and things like that in it. But on top of it, the chillingly familiar sphere. This one probably about the size of a human fist, that is just sort of not quite touching the surface of the table itself, just sort of sitting there. And as you look at it, Mason, you immediately feel that sort of like almost sort of vertigo, like you're like kind of like looking at the room, like the room is almost elongating between you and it as you look at it. Your perception just completely just warps around it. Like you are currently, for like a split second, you have no clear concept of the spatial dimensions of this place that you're standing in, and then you just sort of like blink and kind of pull back, and you still have like vestiges of that as your gaze kind of moves across the thing, but it is without a doubt, as the rest of you start kind of pulling your way through into this space, it is without a doubt an artifact.
Mason, you okay?
I'll be all right.
Yeah. Annalise doesn't turn away from it. She just says, "Here, look at it. It's fascinating. It's really quite something."
I'm gonna kind of turn to CT and
CT's back by the door, so like.
They didn't come in. Oh, okay. Oh man. I mean, I think Peach probably looks at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You look at it and
kind of to like size it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I need you to make an intellect defense roll.
Ooh, okay.
The difficulty on this one is going to be 7.
Okay. Hold on, I have a thing for this, I think.
I think yours is for damage specifically, but
damaging attacks and damaging effects that target your mind and intellect. Defense rolls you make against attacks that attempt to confuse, persuade, frighten, or otherwise influence you are eased. So that would count, right?
I'm trying to decide if it counts in this case.
It's an ability specifically to defend against mental attacks,
yes,
and this is a mental attack.
You don't know it's an attack.
It feels like an attack.
I think
it's influence.
I think yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but influence I think is very specific in its intent. That I still think it is going to count, just because of not because of what's happening, but because of the way in which it is happening.
Okay.
So yes, it's still gonna count.
Okay, so it's 6 right now. Power shift and intelligence gives you an asset in intellect defense rolls. Am I making that up? That's right?
Maybe, probably.
Drax nodding.
Yes.
It does?
Yes,
I thought it does.
does.
It probably does. I honestly don't remember.
Yes, it
Okay, cool.
does. Yeah.
Okay,
I have,
cool.
I have it here.
So
Yeah,
that's
intellectual defense rolls.
excellent.
Yeah.
So that's a 5. Does the fact that I have like had a lot of exposure to these artifacts help me in any way? Like I'm used to kind of defending or like being
That's actually
aware.
That's actually a
of...
really good point. And so actually the difficulty is back up to 6. So that is a really excellent point. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Oh, okay.
That actually, if anything, you are more susceptible.
Great, cool. Part of my ability, just part of my Awakened Streams ability, is that I'm resistant to like charmed or like influence effects. Like as part of the fact that I have like influence over dreams. I'm not sure why, but as part of that ability, would that come into play at all here?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, then I'm gonna spend some effort here.
Wait,
'cause I don't
how
have
does
anything
that
else.
work? Like, what does that mean specifically, mechanically?
In the book under Awakened Dreams, it says that I'm resistant to like charmed, frightened effects. Like, or wait, I'm not sure if it actually might be part of.
Because
Okay, well, I'm not going to be able to find it.
yeah, because like usually things that say that, they will also specify how they change things, how they affect mechanically.
Yeah, I think it's just charm, so I don't think this would work then. On my sheet, it just says resistant to charm, which I think it might be part of my appealing descriptor, or it might be part
It might
of
be, but
Awakened
like
Dreams, I'm not sure.
I guarantee you that if that was something that you wrote down, it's something that has like some sort of mechanical something.
Yeah. No, it won't come into play.
So,
yeah. So 6. So I'm gonna spend some effort here. So I have 1 free level of effort, and then how many can I spend here? So I have 5 levels of effort that I could spend here. So I have 1 free level, which knocks it down to 5. And then I'm gonna spend 4 levels of effort. I don't want to use all of them. I need to have some intellect here, but
which brings you down to, is that all of it?
no, it's a difficulty 1 roll, I think now.
You just need a 3 or better right now. Okay.
Yeah, let me just mark this. Okay. Well, hold on. Okay, 18.
Okay. So, yeah, you feel yourself like getting pulled into it. Like you are being, it feels like being sucked into a whirlpool. Like you feel that same sort of spatial disorientation that Mason experienced, but magnified, and you feel yourself just being pulled in, and you manage to, it almost overwhelms you. Like it is extremely strong, and you kind of manage to kind of keep yourself from being pulled completely in. And in that moment where you're just sort of held in suspense there in that state of disorientation, you you hear something. At first it just sounds like murmuring, but it gets louder and louder and louder until you hear many voices saying,
I expected you to come, but I didn't think it would be this soon.
Glad we caught you off guard. How stupid you must feel.
there's no response to that.
Mm-hmm. Well, whatever you're doing to these people, we'll undo it.
This is far beyond your comprehension.
Hmm.
far beyond your ability to influence. For your own sense of self-preservation, leave this place.
You know, I think you'd only make a threat like that if you were a little bit scared of what we might do here.
Leave this place. You will not like what you find at the end of this journey.
Can I try to Peach is really pissed because this is the thing that's been kind of like exerting all this force on her, and I kind of just want to like push back. Like I want to like intimidate the hell out of him. Like I could maybe use like my psychosis ability to kind of like inflict kind of a mental damage, like kind of telepathically. I don't know how exactly, but that's kind of the route that she would go.
Okay. So I'm gonna need an intellect roll. This is an intellect task, the difficulty of which is 15.
Cool. I don't even think I can roll that. I don't even think I can do anything with that, but let me see here.
Yeah, 45 or better on a d20. Just
Yeah.
We're gonna try. Still gonna.
I'm just trying to see if I have anything that can.
you have to drop it at least 6 points to even be able to roll, right?
Yeah, I don't even think I have anything that'll lower this because I don't have training or power shift in this ability. So mechanically, can I instead of trying to use an inflict damage thing, can I instead just make a threat using in part ideal to try to scare him? So I want to try to be like, you should be threatened, like, or maybe not you should be threatened. Oh my god. I'm trying to see how to do this. Yeah, I want to just make I think it's just gonna have to be a threat because there's no way I can even make that roll.
Yeah. What are you saying?
I'm gonna say I really think you're underestimating the power of all of us here working together. And if I were you, I might leave this station alone for now.
So
you don't want a weakness to be exploited. And I want to see if I can do on part ideal to try and make him think that like exposing himself here is a bad idea. Like that's my play.
Okay. None of what you have none of what you've said is there
it's not scary enough,
no,
doesn't
it's
threaten
not
him
that.
enough.
It's just that I'm trying to figure out if there are like specific ways that you're doing this that might change this, but like I don't think nothing that you've described to me makes me feel like it will because right now this feels like mind for mind is what this feels like to me right now.
Yeah.
And in direct opposition right now, you can feel that you stand there's nothing. Like you try like your first attempt, and I'm not going to make you like take the cost out for anything like this, but I'm just going to say like your first attempt with the previous like pushing back or whatever with psychosis, you reach out and it just immediately swept away. Like it's like just batted out of the way, like knocking a fly out of the air.
Okay.
And as you kind of you speak the words, you can what you feel, because you're not fully enveloped in whatever this is that just tried to pull you into this. You've managed to keep yourself out of it, but what you feel just on outside of the edge, the thing that you are just keeping yourself outside of, you can feel a an intellect, an intelligence that is just completely alien to you. Something that feels, for lack of a better term, it feels infinite, truly vast. You are... There's this moment as you recall, that a similar presence that you felt numerous times since this all started. Not quite the same. This is oppressive. This is intentional. This feels like something big, something far beyond what you ever thought was out there is focusing its attention on you and wishing ill intent.
Okay. I want to, in my hands, I want to make, similar to the one that we have, or we've used in the past to contain the previous artifact, I want to make like a briefcase appear in my hand and snap it around the orb, basically.
Okay.
That's my next move.
Interesting. Okay, go ahead and this will be an intellect task. The difficulty on this one's going to be 6.
Okay. Just to like make the item and like close around it, or just to do the entire
The whole
thing?
thing, yeah.
I might have some rolls
This
that
is kind of like the whole thing, really.
Okay. So Dreamcraft, I'm making an item. I have a power shift in Dreamcraft. That would knock it down. Yeah. Okay. And then I have training and that as well, so that would be down by 2. And free level of effort. And let me see how much intellect I have right now. Just see how much I can spend here. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna spend 1 more level of effort. And that's all I can do. So I'll just roll 6 or better.
Okay. What did you roll?
I rolled a 5. But I
Would you like an XP?
I would like an XP.
Take one from me.
Thank you. I'm just really bolstered by Mason, you know?
Yeah. All right, so go ahead and
really cool.
reroll.
16.
Okay.
Better that time.
So as you reach out, attempting to pull from the threads of dreams to manifest a physical item, you reach out and for a moment you feel yourself getting swept away again, and then you just sort of feel like you feel a hand on your shoulder, and as you look, you suddenly remember where you are. You suddenly are in the room and you know where you are as you look into Mason's eyes, and you turn back and you just sort of redouble your efforts, and you can feel that, like, those sort of wisps of non-reality that you reach out and pull together, and you manifest containment for the artifact that immediately surrounds the thing and closes on it. You feel like a severing of a string. You feel that connection just gone. You can still sense that presence, but it's much, much farther away, much dulled. And immediately, Annalise reacts. As she just turns and moves quickly towards you. She just turns. We're gonna cut back upstairs.
Okay.
Bina
just like grabs onto Taeyeon's arm and is like, get us out of here, get us out of here, get us out of here, get us out of here.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna try and teleport immediately. To... Okay, so when we were walking, I was like looking through every window I physically could, including when we had to choose between the corridor and the lift, the elevator. Would it have been possible for me to have looked into the elevator? Or is that like completely
No.
different?
Yeah, you took. Yeah, you could.
Okay. I want to teleport us. That's the only place I know that people are most likely not in. So I want to teleport into the
Okay,
elevator.
cool. I'm gonna offer you a GM intrusion.
God damn it! You know I can't say
I know.
no to it.
So
Yeah,
go ahead and take an
fine.
XP and give the other one to whoever you.
Yeah, I'll give it
That
to
makes
Bina
sense.
because
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
We're doing it. We're in
Yeah.
this together.
Yeah.
I would have also said
Yeah.
yes. So we're.
Taeyeon, you teleport. You and Bina teleport. And you have there's a split second of feeling relief as you've teleported away from the immediate danger, immediately followed by the realization that while you have teleported to the space that you saw, the lift isn't there anymore, and you just begin to free
fuck,
fall.
I didn't think about
Both of you
that.
begin to free fall down the lift shaft.
That's cool. That's great.
Great.
Okay, here's what's gonna happen. I am going to I'm gonna grab onto Tan as tight as I can. We're gonna drop invisibility because I don't think I can do this in. Maybe I can. I don't know. You'll matter. It doesn't matter. And I'm gonna shine or put my hands down and shine straight down in the shaft so that when we see ground, Tan can teleport us.
That's amazing.
That's
Oh my
actually
god.
perfect. I think the exact same thing.
That's fucking incredible. So, I think,
Because I can't stop us from going.
that's amazing. Yeah, no, you shine, like, you just become suddenly just sort of a beacon of light inside this dark elevator shaft. The only lights in here are just sort of emergency lights that are sort of like these sort of red emergency lights that dot the inside of the lift shaft. As the two of you tumble downwards, still holding on to each other, you start gaining speed as basically like the artificial gravity is still apparently in play even within the lift shaft. The two of you just free falling, gaining speed to the point where like
As bright as I can
Bina,
down at the bottom.
Bina, you even get a point to the point where you can't even keep your eyes open because it's just sort of rushing past you. Luckily, Taeyeon doesn't have to because he's got his helmet. But for you, you can't even keep your eyes open because just the like velocity of air that is pushing against you. You kind of have to squint.
I shine bright and I close my eyes and I
Yeah.
trust Tan.
Tan, you can see as you're falling and falling and falling, you see not the ground coming, you see the lift coming faster than you think it should as the lift seems to be going up towards you. So
Oh boy. So I think like I'm like all this is happening so fast, but I'm like catching on exactly to like, what Bina is trying to do. I look down and it's sitting on the ground and see the elevator coming up. So I am going to. Someone's on the elevator. I could see into the elevator. So every door we're flying past, I can look into there, right? I want to teleport into one of the floors that
Oh my god.
past.
Okay.
To the other side of the
So as you're falling, you sort of refocus as you turn and you look at into the like windows of there aren't many levels as you're falling, but as you're falling, you can see just as like and then finally there's like a moment where
I want to spread. I want to tell Bina to spread out as fast as we can to at least to slow our fall a little bit. The higher, more surface area, there's more drag, just enough for me to actually get visibility.
Yeah.
On
So you.
the next
Yeah.
floor
You
flypast.
I've got one hand on Tan and the rest of them I'm gonna like open my like my shirt.
Yeah.
She has like her the
Right, that
outerwear
big- yeah.
is like a and it's gonna make it bigger and try
Yeah.
to parachute.
Okay, so
it a little
Tan,
bit.
as you see, you're starting to recognize the pattern of like where the floors are, and as you're going, you wait for one. As you turn and you look, it's like everything slows down, and as you are like going like past it, you get a glimpse inside, and I need you to make an intellect task. The difficulty of this is going to be 6. Is it?
Oh.
Wait.
I was gonna ask. Oh,
I feel like this is actually going to be a speed task.
That is also
I think
fair.
this is going to be a speed task.
So, yes, Caitlin, what were you saying?
I was gonna since my my idea is no longer helpful, I wanted to use simulate. Because on Tan, hoping that Tan has he told me to do something, so Bina went, okay, and she's gonna reach out and like kind of like grab onto like near to your like head, just kind of near the like neck piece of your suit, and just gonna do stimulate, and you kind of get the like the heartbeat, like the doo. Everything kind of slows down. Your
That's
eyes
what
get
makes everything
sharper.
slow down. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's the
in my
it's
head.
You feel, like you like everything gets sharper, quieter. You can see everything much crisper, cleaner. Clearer, and you're gonna get a -3, I believe, to your next roll.
Okay.
Reduce the difficulty of the next action by 3 steps.
All right.
That
Okay,
costs
so that
me a couple.
takes down to 3.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah.
And I mean, this is great because this definitely applies. It has to. I mean, training tasks involved inside. I'm trying to get a look into it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
100%.
2 down to 2. Can I lower it anymore? No. I think that might be it.
Okay. What does that bring you down
Yeah,
to?
that's it. A 2.
Okay.
So I have to roll a 6 or better.
Sounds
And I've got 3. Oh, this is speed. Do I have a 3? I don't have a 3 level effort, but I have some edge in that, so I spend level of effort.
okay.
The first spend is 3, right?
Yes.
The first,
3 points
level
on-
of
okay.
effort,
Yeah,
whatever edge you have that can eat out of that.
Oh. And I have a legend 2, so yeah. Then that goes down to 1. And I'm gonna roll with from
Okay, you
there.
just need a 3 or better.
Ugh. 5.
So Tan, as you and Bina are plummeting towards the lift, you have your eyes set on that next door. You see it as it's coming up, and you can pretty well predict, like, it'll be tight, but you could probably do it. If you can get there and pull this off, then you can get there just before the lift will pass it as well. And if you can't, well, one way or another, you're both gone. So as you look down, you sort of gauge the distance, and as you and Bina sort of slow yourselves a little bit, just enough to be able to like actually be able to see inside one of these windows rocketing past you as you fly past them. You see the one, and in that moment, you can feel like the effects of Bina's stimulate just sort of take over. And for a moment, it's not like things slow down around you. It's like you're processing faster than you would have been otherwise. And as you look, you can see inside to like where the corridor is. And in that moment, you and Bina, just milliseconds before impact on the lift, just vanish. And the lift just past that point. And the two of you just sort of collapse into the corridor, just sort of like huddling in the corridor, Bina very suddenly no longer being whipped by winds. Sort of,
Oh, I did not see that coming.
We did. You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. Actually, yeah.
and with that, I'm
Good
gonna
job.
cut back down below, where CT, you're standing by the door. You hear some kind of commotion happening from inside kind of the center of the room, and you can kind of see movement vaguely through in between some of the larger pieces of equipment. But as you note that, you immediately just hear one of the two guys that Galt left behind go, "We got company," and immediately, like before he even gets the words out of his mouth, like you hear a boom on the door behind you, and as you turn, looking through the window, you can see several of the miners who have now piled themselves up against the door, who are just like trying to rush the door.
Oh boy. This sounds.
Or-
You go ahead.
I had nothing really. I'm just clarifying. So we're in the room
Yeah.
where the artifact is, and the door that leads to the hallway is closed, and between us and that is.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
The-
there's like
yeah,
there's
okay.
you're in the middle where there's like all the equipment that has been pushed out of the room, and you can hear this happening. Like you can hear the against the door, and you can hear one of the security left behind saying, "We've got company," but you can't see out. Where outside of that is sort of like the rest of the room, and then there is a door. A door that one of the security has just barely managed to like seal, so it's not like automatically opening at the
All the people.
yeah.
How many does it seem like?
Damn.
You don't know, but because you can't see that, but from inside, from
okay.
where you are right now,
Yeah.
Galt kind of reacts to hearing that and turns and just pistol out and just fires on Annalise, just shoots. He catches her full on in the chest and she just goes down before she even reaches you, Peach. She you can see as she goes and then continues, momentum carries her forward and she just falls to the ground in front of you. Galt just says, "We've got to go."
And it's just us and her in the room, right?
It's no, okay, so it's
For now.
Yeah, it is all of you and her in the room for now. Yeah.
Does she look dead?
Yes. Yes, very much so.
Okay. Fuck. Okay.
I second that. Let's move.
Is there another way out?
Not that you've seen, but there's also a lot of equipment in the way.
Yeah, can we kind of do a quick search of the room, Mason?
Yeah. All right. So
Yes.
you're looking around. CT, what are you doing at the moment?
Frantically.
I guess like just looking through the window and trying to like scale up how many people are outside at the
Yeah,
moment.
as you look out there, you're sort of, it's difficult to tell because the window's not that big, and the space in the window is fully obscured by people trying to, like miners trying to get in. As you look past them, it's hard to say, but there's probably somewhere in the vicinity of like 20 or so out there. All of them you can see like that are like struggling, like their faces sort of contorted in rage as they're all like trying to get to and through the door. Quite a few of them, as you're looking, you're actually seeing like as some of them, they just keep slamming against it. You can see that like as one of them slams, there's just sort of like a spatter of blood across the window as they just are slamming into it. You can see where they have like their hands are like bleeding from impact. You can see head wounds on a couple of them as they've been slamming into the door. And one of the security who's standing near you just sort of takes a step back and goes, "What the shit is happening?"
Bad things.
As you're kind of gathering, Mason, you and Peach are searching the room. You reach the other side, and you as you sort of like go, trying to like peeking over, like climbing over some of the equipment. It doesn't look like there's another way out. There is one door.
One way out?
I just sent a quick status update to Bina.
Hey,
Yeah.
Shit's
hope you're doing
fucked.
okay.
How's the wife and kids? So you're doing great.
we're
Zombies? We're in a zombie league right now. Oh, okay.
Mason's gonna definitely at this point, probably already has at this point pulled out his gun, and is just like preparing.
Yeah.
So, Mason, did you tell them where we were?
I mean, as good as it will do them, yes.
Galt, who was kind of on the other side of the room, like in the area, the side of the room where you left the others, like climbs down off the equipment and turns and says, "Door's holding for now, but that's not gonna hold him for long. I say, we get everybody back behind this equipment, use it as cover, and take as many of them out as they flood into the room."
Yeah, maybe we can create some confusion so it'll be a little bit harder for them to see us.
The door will create a natural choke point, so they won't all be able to come through at once.
Would
Mason
it be
takes cover. Oh,
would it be bad if we could take them all out in one go?
If you got any ideas, now's the time.
Then
CT?
take cover and let the door get opened.
Mason gives you like a look, like a huh? Okay, taking cover.
Yeah, Galt just says, "Come on, take cover. You heard him." And the other two around you like are looking at you, CT, and then they just like turn and like kind of like vault, like climb up over the top of the equipment and sort of get into the middle where everybody else is.
It might
Yeah.
be a good idea to close your eyes as well.
For how long?
A second should suffice.
Okay.
All right. So CT, you're now standing by the door where you can see the door controls where you can let them in if you choose.
Yeah, as soon as everybody's in safety, yeah, I'll open the
Okay.
door.
So yeah, you disable the like safety protocols on the door so that basically you disable security mode essentially. So the door now just sort of opens and they begin to start like pushing through. What are you doing?
I would like to use flash as a means of illuminating every light that is in this space as bright as it possibly can be, kind of like a flashbang.
Oh shit. Okay. How does that? What does that do? That's one of your abilities, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's an intellect thing. I create an explosion of energy at a point within close range, affecting an area to immediate range from that point. And I just have to be able to see the center of the explosion.
Perfect. Yeah.
And so within the center of that group,
Okay.
as bright as possible.
Sounds good. This is gonna be I'm gonna say it's not a speed task because it's you planned this and you set it up yourself, and let them in when you were ready. So this is going to be an intellect task, and the difficulty of this is going to be, I think the difficulty on this is going to be 5.
Okay.
Flashbang 1000.
It is a task with perception. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it is in this case. Yeah, because you've got to be able to know the exact moment when you're. Yeah.
I'll gonna spend free level of effort on that
Okay.
one.
That's good. So that brings it down to 3.
And then actually a level of effort.
Okay, so you're down to 2. So right now you need a 6 or better.
I'm gonna have to roll
Okay.
on that because that's all I got. Oh boy. I got a nat 20.
Okay.
Major
Major
effect.
effect. Yeah. So do you have anything? You know what? No. I'll tell you what. I've got something for you. So, you just sort of reach out as they start pouring through, all like bloodied and like the ones at the front bloodied from bashing themselves up against the door and the wall, just sort of running towards you, expressions of rage on their face. And as they come, you just sort of glance over at one of the light panels, and it just they all start like popping as the light flares up in them, just to much brighter than they were designed to be, and just a sudden split, and they all just sort of simultaneously just all the light fixtures blow, creating just sort of a blinding light in the room, which your shades just sort of automatically tint. It just sort of your shades just automatically adjust and tint to the whole thing. And as that light goes, you can see, you sort of in another sudden insight, you recognize that there is also a pressurized coolant line that runs sort of out from this room out into the main room, and just sort of it takes minimal effort as you like push just a little harder, and the pressurized coolant line just ruptures, creating, in addition to that like blinding flash, a like concussive blast that goes outwards, and you can see like a shockwave. They all just sort of, it's like it levels them out, and several of them towards the back get actually like flung across the room. They all basically go down in that moment, unmoving, totally stunned. Y'all, through your closed eyelids, you see a very sudden bright flash, and then it's relative silence. And as you all like kind of like peek over tentatively to see, CT is surrounded by like splash pattern of the miners that have gone to either side of him and have like basically just been laid flat on the ground to either side of CT, who is just sort of standing there in the middle of all of that.
Run?
Yes, we should leave as fast as we can.
Good job with whatever that was.
Galt just goes, "All right, let's move!" And he and the others, they just sort of like vault over the equipment that is the barrier, and you all book it through the door.
Yeah, we do.
As you're running, you make for the lift, which when you reach it, it is not there. And Galt just sort of slams the button, like the recall button for the lift, and he sort of turns and he says,
Stairs.
Yeah, he points to the others, says, "Perimeter now!" And the other 5 just sort of spread out, kneel down, and just sort of wait. He says, "That lift doesn't come soon. Those things are gonna get back up."
We wouldn't have had like the layout to this at all. We don't know any. We don't
Probably
like.
not,
Are
no.
there stairs here? Okay.
Probably not.
Yeah, I didn't think
yeah.
so.
Just because this is sort of like you're basically inside of the asteroid right now.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
Not safe for fire at all.
Well, for that they just vent compartments. You do see that the lift is coming back. It
Okay,
is
good,
coming
good.
back. But yeah, Galt says, he kind of looks over at kind of your worried expressions. He says, "We'll be fine as long as we can hold out for a little while. I already called in for backup."
I could maybe make it look like this hall's empty. Could I if I see any of them start to come towards us, like, you know, wake up and start coming towards us, I want to use Dreamcraft to make it look like it's an empty corridor,
Okay.
basically.
Yeah. So, we're gonna cut back to Bina and Taeon. So, what did the two of you, relatively safe for the moment in a corridor? What are you doing?
So we've got some updates about everything going on. We know that they've been chased by these things, but we don't know where they are. Do we know where? I don't think we know where they are, do we?
I think you do, or you maybe you don't.
We told
Mason was sending
That's
us
right.
updates,
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, he said where
Okay.
we were.
Okay, do
How-
we have
how-
the update that you're waiting for? Like,
Yeah,
you
that's
see the
what I'm
elevator
asking.
going back down towards you? Like, are we... Like, am I aware that they're trying to get the
Probably,
elevator?
yeah.
Is there anything I can do? Can I get into a panel? Can I try to speed up the elevator for them?
You can try. I mean, the thing is, like,
I don't know if that's even
I mean,
possible.
it's-
I won't try
it's
it if it's
possible,
not physically possible.
It's possible, but I don't. By the time you're able to, actually, it'll take the same amount of
they'll
time for the
already
elevator
be
to,
down
for the
there.
lift
Yeah,
to get
okay,
down there.
so never mind then.
Okay.
I appreciate the
know what-
effort.
I know what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell everyone, like, once the elevator arrives, tell everyone to get in. And I'm gonna send that in our little group chat, and then I'm going to use where is it? Time loop. I'm going to reach out and just reach out into like you see the energy of Tyrion's abilities kind of ripple beside him as he reaches in and pulls another future version of himself through, and that each version immediately taps Bina, I need to say Caitlin, Bina and Taeyeon. 2-1 taps Bina and Taeyeon, and the moment we see the elevator go past our floor, teleports us into the elevator. And then I'm gonna try and I'm gonna be like, just once we get down to the bottom floor, I'm gonna try and teleport everyone. Well, me are gonna try and teleport everyone back onto the shuttle. That should be at least a safe place for now.
We might just be able to get everyone on the elevator. I don't want to totally wipe you in case something else happens, but
Trust me,
if you can
I'm
do
good.
that, then that's good.
Okay, so
That's the plan.
so as you wait for the, I mean, the thing about the way that lifts work is that
We can just
you
stop
can
it
just
at our floor.
call
maybe.
it to your floor and it'll stop there first.
We don't need. Do you want to risk stopping it though?
That's up to you. That's what
I
I'm
have-
saying. I'm just providing you with options, things you would
Yeah,
be aware
I know.
of.
Yeah. I know. I think Taylor's more like we need to do this quickly because even though we're getting updates, we don't exactly know what exactly is happening
All
at
right,
this
all right.
moment.
Yeah, your call if you want to spend the points for it.
And
but
also,
I'm
yeah,
down.
I'm good. I have way too much intellect.
Well, way to humble brag. No, I'm kidding.
I have
but-
so
yeah.
much. My
Genius,
intellect
you know.
pool is so
My
big.
intellect.
Big brain.
Big intellect energy. Okay, so we're gonna teleport into
Okay.
the elevator.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not gonna make you roll for that one because it's so basically
We're not falling
you're not
actively
falling.
out of the sky.
You're not
Yeah.
falling. You can see it coming, and as you see it coming, however, Taeyeon, let me just ask you a quick question. Do you just sort of like reflexively just go, like you're waiting for it, and you just go as it comes, or
Oh, that's a good question. You know what? Yes, I'll reflexively. I think he's in a rush to get this done. He's gonna reflexively.
Okay,
teleport
sounds
us
good.
over.
You see, the moment you see it, you see inside, and you teleport right at the exact same moment that you recognize that there's somebody inside. There's people inside the lift as well. And as you teleport inside, you very suddenly appear inside of a whole group of armed security from the Bellerophon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
as you see several of them startle and turn and like point weapons at you.
We're with you. We're with you. We're with you. Hi.
Say, all right, we just got a call for reinforcements from Galt a little while ago. We're making our way down to his location.
Is there enough room in this elevator to take all of us back up?
There's maybe it'll be a squeeze, but
Oh, shit.
yes,
Oh,
Dumbasses.
it'll be a squeeze, but you can do it.
Taeyeon can get some of us back. It'll be okay.
And as you reach the bottom, we cut back to the people down below. As you hear one of them say, one of the security turn and say, "Colonel, they're getting up." And you see, as you turn to look, you see a few of them inside the room that you just left, sort of like standing up and like very sort of like slowly just kind of turning and looking in your direction, as then they just sort of like and just like run towards just start like sprinting, as several others of them start getting up as well and just start running. Galt's crew start opening fire, which, to their credit, they seem to be aiming like just sort of like debilitating shots, like legs and that sort of stuff. Yeah, they seem to be largely aiming to slow down the miners. Galt isn't, but the rest of them are.
Yeah.
I
figured.
And as they're coming, the lift, like as several of them are starting to reach you, in spite of being slowed, the lift stops and opens, and as the door just, you hear somebody from inside call, "Get down!" And then you see several sort of cylindrical objects be tossed into the room, and you hear Galt say, "Cover your eyes!" As you go down, you see the like just eyes closed, you see and hear the detonation of several flashbangs that just in the room, once again concussively laying out the group that are running towards
Death.
you.
They're gonna be like so. They will not be able to
Yeah.
hear.
And with that, as you sort of disoriented, but at the very least, like most of you able to either Mason just sort of eyes just adapt to the flashbang.
Yep.
And
I'm
Bean is
probably
fine,
also-
yeah.
See-through sunglasses.
Yeah, but
Everyone's just
basically,
chilling.
I would say everybody except for Taeon and Mason, though, like fully like disoriented, deafened by this whole by the
Yeah.
but you're
Are they all down or are they getting back up?
they look like
Because I have a back.
yeah, they seem like they are down and disoriented, like they're trying to get back up, but like they're not particularly immediately a threat. You have enough time to get everybody on the lift.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah. Disoriented state and all.
I'm gonna stand as close to the doors of the elevator or of the lift as I can.
Mhm.
And she's just kind of got like two of her hands up, just like waiting.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna do anything unless they become like an actual
As everybody
threat.
kind of like starts piling into the lift, yeah, everybody starts sorry.
How many people in total? I'm just curious.
There were probably another 5 who came down on the lift, so it's like 10 of them, and Galt, and then your group.
I know it won't. Okay, if it makes any difference, can Mason adapt to this in a way that he
Yeah,
can
Mason's
just like
just
make himself
Lighter.
compressed
Skeleton, yeah.
just slightly.
Mason becomes
God,
tiny.
people.
Yeah.
I don't know if Taeyeon can like.
Max I can do is 8 people.
You can get like half.
4 because
less,
of the
I don't
two
know.
Taeons.
As you're stepping into the lift, start getting people on, you just hear the computerized voice.
Warning. Lift capacity exceeds recommended safety limits.
Yeah,
Taeyeon-
Vina's just gonna look at Taeyeon and be like,
Yeah, Taeyeon's being looked at Taeyeon. Taeyeon looks at 2-1 and nods, and then Taeyeon is gonna like touch as many people as he can. It's gonna be the most weirdest thing. He's got like one hand, another a foot on someone's back, a tail. Like touching as many of the backup that came to get them away, because he's pretty confident that we at the very least can hold our own. But we're not entirely sure about these people. He's gonna try and touch up to 4 of the backups that came and teleport them to the shuttle that we
Okay.
came down.
Yeah.
Came down in.
Yeah, as you go ahead. That's totally doable. You do that. And Bina, you glance to your side and you see as Vix has stepped up. And he's got his hands out. He says, "What's the plan?"
"Can you still leech off of me?"
Let's hope so.
Okay. Or she's just gonna be like, okay. Wait, we're gonna wait for them to see if they start moving. If they don't, we won't need to try this.
You can see that at this point they're starting to like regain their footing, and several of them have started like stumble running towards.
Okay, so Bina's gonna have one hand up, another hand is she's gonna overlap with
Mhm.
Vix's and have Vix put his other
Yeah.
hand up. And she's gonna say, okay, mirror me. And I want to try to put out just an aura of no. Like this is a no stone for you. And it's called Foul Aura. And what it does is words, gestures, or touch invest in object. It's an object, so probably like a glove or something. An object no larger than yourself, with an aura of doom, fear, or doubt for one day. Creatures that understand you feel the urge to move at least a short distance away from the object. If they don't move, the difficulty of all tasks, whatever, everything's increased by 1. But I want them to. They feel the urge to move away. That's what I'm trying to put out here.
Okay. I'm gonna say the difficulty on this is also gonna be 5, so this is gonna be an intellect
Okay.
task. But you get an asset from Vix.
Okay, so out of 4, I have free level of effort, I don't think any of my. I don't actually think I have anything that helps here, so I'm gonna spend 2 more.
Okay.
That's.
All right.
Can do math. It's good. We're fine. Okay, down to a 1.
Okay. So you just need a 3 or better.
Okay. 6.
All right. So
Cutting it close
yeah.
today.
So between you and Vix, you can feel as like you basically like the two of you are sort of begin kind of pushing as one essentially, simultaneously, sort of keying into each other's like intentions as you just push outward with this feeling, like as you build it up in yourself and you just push outwards. And you can see the effect immediately take place as like one of them like reaches forward and sort of stumble running, just fully falls over because they tried to stop while also stumbling towards you. They just fully fall over and then just scramble back along the floor. Others sort of reach and just stop dead at the edge of the spot and just sort of standing there looking like they're trying to push forward, but they just can't quite make themselves do it. As the two of you just sort of kind of back into the lift, you can see that they just sort of gather, basically like forming like a barrier right around that edge, the edge of where the effect is taking place.
I do think it affects everyone, so I think everyone in the lift probably is pushed into the wall until I get rid of it. But
and as you kind of get inside the lift,
you should reach out with one of my lower arms and we'll press the lobby button.
Yeah, you hit the button, and there's and then the lift closes and then just goes up.
Basically, I'll just feel really uncomfortable. I think is
It's
what
like you
it
feel
is.
like you cannot be in this lift, but you cannot get away because there's physically nowhere to go.
And I'll just kind of like shake it off.
Yeah.
Shake it off of my glove.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, it's a new one. I've been working on that one. I didn't know if it was gonna work or not, so I'm glad that happened for us today. Thanks, Vix. I look up to.
He goes, yeah, that was.
Good teamwork.
So just so I'm clear, Taeyeon,
Briefcase also.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Who did you take? I was sort of not listening when you said who you took.
Quick question: When I arrived, did I see Galt shooting lethally?
Probably not, because like as soon as the doors opened, like everybody
Got in. Okay. I mean, and he would have no reason to take Galt. He wouldn't know. So he's gonna just try and take first the backup. As far as he's aware, the Galt seems pretty capable, and again, like he doesn't know he was shooting lethally. So he's gonna try and get as much of the backup to the shuttle as possible. That's 2 on Ante.
Okay.
So they both are gonna take 4 each, so 8
Okay.
people.
Sounds good. So just like the security team, is that what you're? Okay, cool.
Yeah, so kind of like you guys are probably not used to it, so hold on to your lunch and just immediately teleport them.
Yeah. So you all make your way up. Like the lift stops at the main atrium, where you can see that like the people, like the mining crew who were in here before when you left, are now like several of them. They appear to be alive. Some of them are injured, but like mostly they look like they were hit with stuns. Because all Galt did was call for backup. He didn't have time to brief them on anything, so they came in here not intending to do anything lethal. So, as you kind of like pick your way across, stepping over some of them, you can see another small group of security that's sort of standing guard around the airlock, and Hayes himself, who is there. At the front of, not at the front, but like in kind of the middle of that crew, as he looks at you, he says, "Well, this looks eventful." And he looks around, looks at you, Peach, and then sees the case. He says, "Is that what you found? Did you find something?"
Yes. But I'll take it back.
He says, "Well, there's no need for that. We have vaults on the ship specifically for that. We can keep it safe there and have any kind of analysis done on."
It's going to need special containment. It can't just go in a vault.
We can make that happen.
Okay, I'd like to see it there.
Of course. Says, Galt, I'd like you to accompany it as well, sir. It's clear that this thing, whatever it is, well, I don't know what it is, but it looks like it's some source of whatever the hell happened to these people.
It is.
He nods. Says, "All right, interesting. Let's. Says, are you ready?" And you can see as he like looks over to the person who there's a person one of the crew at the terminals, the security not security at the reception desk at the terminals there, sort of looking through. Says, "Yeah, I've almost got it. 1 second." He looks up and says, "All right, downloaded the relay scans, deep space relay scans. Anything that they picked up on their sensors, we have right here." Excellent, excellent. Well, let's get back on the ship. Place is kind of creepy. Let's leave it behind.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Time to go.
Yeah, y'all turn and make your way back to the landing platform where there are now a couple of shuttles, and the group that Taeon and Tuon brought, and you load up onto the shuttles and return to the Bellerophon. When you're there, once you're aboard, Galt turns to the security team, all like I think there's probably about 15 of them now at this point. He just turns and says, "You all with me. We're taking this thing down to the vaults, making sure that it's properly contained." And he nods to you, Peach, and says, "Follow me."
Lead the way.
You all make your way down there, and it's probably about it's only probably about 5 minutes or so after your arrival that the Bellerophon jumps to FTL again, leaving the station behind. Seems like everybody's pretty eager to leave that place behind.
Good. Yeah, let's get out of here.
But and with a few conversations and calls down to research, Abriel is able to pretty quickly parse what happened and is able to sort of help kind of consult on containment, the containment that's necessary. And between the research and engineering teams, you're able to very quickly put together, much more quickly than Bina was able to do it on her own. You're able to very quickly put together the kind of containment for this artifact.
Is Hayes down here?
Yeah, Hayes comes in later at once the whole thing is
Okay.
it's being secured. He comes in as it's happening. As he walks in, he says, "Well, I just got the full mission briefing for debriefing. So weird stuff out here, huh?"
Could say that again.
Well, whatever this is, we'll figure it out. I made sure to hire the top researchers to the team, so.
That's good to hear. But I do just want to say that no matter what you think about this thing, you should not, under no circumstance, go close enough to it that you can look at it, that you can see it, that it can influence you.
He looks at you and just sort of frowns. Says, "You know what that thing is?"
Have an idea.
Might have to pick your brain about it later. I'm a curious guy.
Well, there were a lot of curious people down there too, and it did not work out very well for them.
Yeah.
So unless you want to be those people, stay the hell away from this thing. Study it through its containment, but just trust me, do not go near it. I'd like your word.
Believe me, I have no intention of risking ending up like whatever the hell was happening back there.
Those weren't even the worst versions I've seen.
Well, we're definitely going to have a conversation then. This conversation is leaving me with many more questions than answers, and Anyway, he kind of looks around. Abriel sort of overseeing as she looks, says, "Yeah, right over there. Good. All right, go ahead and activate." And you can see as one of the researchers activates it, the containment field goes up around the briefcase, and Abriel says, "Okay, all readings indicate the field is at 100% stability." She looks at you, Peach, and just says, "Looks like I think we did it."
Good. I wonder if this means that the people under its effect are no longer trapped.
I don't know. Only time will tell, really. And she just sort of says, I'm gonna go back to sickbay. If anybody needs me, that's where I'll be." She just walks by, puts a hand on your shoulder, Peach, as she walks past you and squeezes, gives you like a meaningful look, and then just keeps walking. And Hayes goes, "Right. Well, I'm gonna go have a drink and take a nap. This has been a weird day." And he
before he walks out, I just want to stop him one more time and just say, and make sure that message gets around to your crew. No one comes in with this thing without explicit studying or research credentials.
I'm way ahead of you.
Okay.
And he turns and
enjoy your nap.
Just sort of walks out.
Had a really hard day, huh?
Galt is leaning against the entrance to the vault, Peach, as he's just sort of watching you. Just with like a very kind of cold, expressionless gaze. And then as the two of you make eye contact, he doesn't say anything. He just sort of pushes off the wall and, still kind of looking at you, just sort of turns and walks back out of the vault, following Hayes.
Can I read anything in that besides the fact that it's just a cold expression?
I'm actually going to give you this one for free.
Okay.
You're getting the impression, like, this is something that you read earlier. Didn't think much of those of you who didn't appear to be combatants. Now, having seen what he saw on the station and having heard the things that you said about this, now there's this very, like, I wouldn't go so far as to call it respect. It's more like a sort of tactical curiosity.
Like calculating. Yeah. Really did not like that man. And I'm just gonna kind of give one last look to the containment just to like make sure everything looks good, and then I'm gonna go.
You walk out of the vault, and watching as the people who Abriel's team basically kind of they leave behind you and seal the vault behind them, waiting for that moment for that confirmation that the vault has been secured. And at long last, as you're watching the security system sort of setting itself back up, coming back online, the one of the crew members looks and says, "Mr. Hayes, vault secured. Shall I have the report sent to your office?" "Yes, sir." And with that, Peach, as you turn away from the vault, you see Vix just sort of standing in the corridor waiting for you and watching as everybody goes past. He just turns and says,
"Hey.
Well, this sure as shit got a lot more complicated."
Yeah.
So now we have to prevent Hayes from finding what he's looking for out here, prevent the discovery of the Voxora homeworld, and somehow get an artifact back from him.
Yeah.
Great.
It's not going to go easy.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can convince him that it's more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah. He doesn't exactly strike me as someone who considers consequences. To people like him, consequences are for other people. People with less money.
Well, maybe we'll have to make them relevant to him.
I don't know why, but I feel like there's something really ominous behind what you just said. Let's go get something to eat. And he just kind of puts his arm around you.
Good work today down there.
Yeah. Let's never do that again. And as the
Oh,
yeah.
I was just going to say, we probably will have to.
I know. Wishful thinking. And he just sort of like jostles you as you're with his arm around you as you walk down the hall. And with that, I think
I kind of jostle him back.
With that minor mishap, perfect.
There you go.
I think that fixes it,
It
right?
should
Yeah.
fix it, yeah. I think we're going to call it for tonight with this super extra long episode.
That was intense.
Yeah.
Oh, that was scary.
I'm so glad we split the party. That was so fun.
That made it even more
Yeah.
terrifying
Yeah.
too.
All right, everybody. Not gonna spend a bunch of time on outgoing announcements, but remember Ramblemancy this Friday, not Saturday. Ramblemancy this Friday with the Into Deep crew. Some of the Into Deep crew are gonna be joining us. Saturday we have our Borderlands stream continued, and like a week from that is when I'll be starting my Mass Effect playthrough. So that'll be a fun thing. Look forward to more announcements about that. No Into Deep on Tuesday. So there will not be our Waterdeep Dragon Heist actual play on Tuesday. So for those of you who came in with raids,
Is that what it is? Waterdeep Dragon Heist?
it
Are you
is.
sure it's not Dragon
I'm
Deep?
trying to end the episode. Don't do this to me.
Deep.
All right, so we're gonna go. If those of you who came in with the raids, thank you so much. If you're still here, thank you for sticking around with us. If you want to know more and you haven't already, you should join our Discord where you can learn everything there is to know about this. And that is the last thing that I'm going to say because we have to go. So thank you everybody for coming and hanging out with us on this super chonky episode. We'll see you hopefully on Friday for Ramblemancy, but if not, we'll see you the next time you decide to come roll with us. Good night and good zone, everybody.
Bye. Good night, everybody.